It's the biggest rivalry in British basketball, a London derby, as the London Towers are visitors to the Greater London Leopards. It's a series decider, and that's coming next.
You have 30 seconds to answer the following questions. What number comes next? A is to B as C is to... One family estate has 5 seats, the other 7. Which would you choose? Struggling? Just ask one of those 6-year-olds in the back. Test drive your IQ now. The Renault Laguna.
Daddy? How do you get babies?
They come from their mummy's tummy.
How do they get into Mummy's tummy? Do they grow from seeds?
In a way, yes.
Do daddies have babies in their tummy?
No. Oh, look, it's children's television is
Do
on.
daddies make boys and mummies make girls?
McDonald's. How would you like to go to McDonald's for lunch?
Yeah, can I have a Happy Meal?
Yes.
And you have a Big Mac?
Yes.
Large fries?
Yes.
And a large Coke?
Yes.
And then you can tell me all about it.
He's gone round the back, Gov. Banana flavour.
New ambrosia flavoured custard. Devon knows how they make it so creamy.
Live action on 3 Sky Sports channels. Here next, basketball, a London derby. On 2 right now, rugby union. And on 3 next, cricket.
This is Sky Sports 1.
The Sheffield Sharks are the 1999 Budweiser League champions. But with a head-to-head to decide and the crown of the capital to claim, the Leopards and the Towers provide a fitting close to the regular season.
So I said I'm on the road, so I need a car. And I know that I'm getting alive. And I say I got faith.
Our final regular season game, a London derby, features the London Towers at the London Arena against the Greater London Leopards. It's the biggest rivalry in British basketball, and we're happy that you could join us for it. The series is tied at 1 apiece this season, so today is a cup game of sorts for both teams. Now, both organizations made personnel changes in January that have been for the positive. The Leopards, though in 8th place, have won 12 of 19 games since, whereas the Towers were winners in 10 of their last 14 league outings. Now, speaking of winners, today we are joined by the Sheffield Sharks coach, Chris Finch, fresh off capturing the league title as well as the National Cup earlier this year. Congratulations and welcome. So, are you relieved?
More than you know, Kevin. The last 2 weeks seem to last forever. You know, the highs and lows of both Chester and then Friday winning it finally at Manchester.
Okay, congratulations on that. But as we look at the results from last night, we see some very interesting results. Now, the Leopards traveled to Birmingham, were unsuccessful. The Derby Storm at home to the Leicester City Riders, a big one for Bob Doneywald, but he fell short. Thames Valley victors over Chester, and Newcastle winners over the Worthing Bears. Looking at the league table, we see the 1 from 13, how the teams finished for the season. The check marks mean those are the top 8 teams that made the playoffs, and Derby, by losing last night, made it for the Newcastle Eagles to jump up from 7th to 5th place. Now, today's teams, the London Towers, on 4th place against the Greater London Leopards, who are in 8th place. Now, the excitement continues to grow, and down on the court, enhancing the build-up, is Suzanne Dando.
Enhancing, Kev. Thanks very much, but I don't think any of my 5-foot frame will enhance this build-up. I think they're quite capable of doing that on their own, aren't they? But, you know, the capital really has been the setting for some of the most dramatic clashes between these two London sides. And let's face it, they've all lived up to expectations. Now, since the Leopards were started 5 years ago, the rivalry between the two teams has gone from strength to strength. And although the result tonight won't make any difference in how they finish in the league table, the head-to-head still stands at 1 apiece. And believe me, pride plays a huge part in all of this. No one will want to give ground going into the playoffs. Four years ago, the Towers were the dominant side in British basketball, something the Leopards would one day aspire to. The Towers put together a team that included the cream of the league, the likes of Steve Bucknell, Martin Henlon, Andy Gardner, plus Americans Danny Lewis and Tony Windlass. Success was not a surprise. They won all but the championship, which they lost in the final, and on the way, they swept the Leopards. The following year, the Leopards recruited a whole new team in John White, Eric Burks, Tim Davis and John Tresvant, and recorded their first ever home win over the Towers in 6 attempts.
A 2-point win for the Leopards, the first time ever on their home court. They have done it tonight. They say they're a team in London.
Was the balance of power in the capital changing? The two teams had both picked up trophies, but the league title was still up for grabs.
Offensive foul call. Billy Mims cannot believe it.
In a third and final league meeting, the Leopards secured their Comeback Kids label, coming back from a 21-point deficit in the third quarter to win the game in overtime. This despite losing 3 players with foul trouble. John White was truly inspirational with 36 points on the night.
Leopards win! Leopards win the ball game!
The championships beckoned, and it was only right that the two teams should once again meet to decide who was superior. The game came down to the final 3 seconds, and Towers veteran Danny Lewis coolly made 2 free throws to win the championship by just 1 point.
Danny Lewis gets it!
Honours even, or were they?
We're the only team at the end of the year that gets to go home with a positive feeling. The last man standing.
Last season, the Towers failed to win a trophy, but although their crosstown rivals had successfully defended the league title, league meetings between the two were as fierce as ever. The Towers won the opening encounter, with the Leopards tying the series. With nothing but pride to play for, the Towers beat the Big Cats in the head-to-head decider. In London, the Towers reigned.
A great series that we've had over the years there. This series this season is tied at 1 apiece. You've played both of these teams. Which one of them was your toughest opponent?
Well, I would say the Leopards. The Leopards seem to get stronger as the year, in our schedule with them, as the year went on. Whereas the Towers, we've started out with a tough double overtime game, and then as the season went on, it became easier for us, whatever that means. Now, how that bodes well for the playoffs for us and them, we'll have to see.
For the Leopards, they have Tim Moore. He's the only guy to finish the season to average a double-double. He averaged 22 points, 10 rebounds. Is he good enough to carry the Leopards?
I certainly think so, not only in points and rebounds, but what he does, he's so active in picking up broken offenses for him, second shots, just keeping them around to allow them to make a run. I certainly think he's got the talent, and he's their marquee player.
Billy has talked about on numerous occasions how Danny Lewis goes is how the Towers fare. Now, he says, he has a theory. If Danny Lewis scores 20 points, Towers win. If he scores less than 20, they lose. What's your thought on that series?
Well, the theory, I think, is fundamentally true, and Danny is the catalyst for the Towers. In terms of points, I'm not necessarily that sure you can put a number on it. I know last time Danny was out on Sky, or maybe 2 times ago when Billy was doing the game, I reckon he got 20 and they still lost. I think it was to Newcastle. So that kind of may be the exception to prove the theory true. Mm-hmm. But I certainly think he's the key to their whole offense.
You know, you look at today's game, rivalry, not a lot into it as far as position goes for the playoffs. Who do you see as the winner?
I'm going to pick the Leopards today, but it's going to be a great game. Having everything wrapped up, all the places decided, and last game of the season, you wouldn't want a better one than this one, because this is going to still have all the emotion of a big London clash.
Okay, so thanks for that, Chris. Now, the game means a lot to both organizations on and off the court. and I used to enjoy the fierceness and intensity. And today, I don't see it being any different. Now, Chris Finch, joins our match commentator, Daniel Routledge, for this one.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Straight into the team list, starting with our host, the Greater London Leopards. And Billy Mims has dubbed this series in the past as the Battle for London and the Capital Cup. Whatever he wants to call it, you can bet he wants to win it. The Leopards have only taken a head-to-head series against the Towers once, a fact Mims will not be pleased with. To the starting five, and only Robert Youngblood and Ben Baum remain from those which tipped off our season in Newcastle in the starting five for the Leopards. Of the additions, Tim Moore has been the most prolific, a double-double every game. To the London Towers, and they say it's not how you start the season but how you finish. If that's the case, then the Towers are set to win Wembley, as Lino Fratton's men have been the form team over the last month. In the starting five, and the last time we saw the Towers, Morten Gottfried had a starting role. He's been replaced by Randy Duck, who reclaims his spot in the three-guard backcourt. Once again, the inside duo of Henlon and Leek will have their work cut out on the glass if they're to keep their team in the ball game. And I think, Chris Finch, the rebounding of the Towers will be a key factor here tonight to keep Youngblood and keep Baum and Moore off the glass.
Yeah, it is. One of the biggest teams in the league, and if you can rebound, you can control the game, you can control their fast break, you can keep them pulling the ball out of the basket, then allow them to have to get out and run like they like to.
It's the final game of the regular season. It's the Towers against the Leopards, and we're off and underway, and there's a whistle on the play. And it'll be a sideline ball to the Leopards. Johnson losing the handle, and it came off the leg, and it'll be a Leopards ball from the end. Through the middle, and a foul on the play. Would a basket count? No, says the referee, as Tim Moore went through. The bookies tonight will have the London Towers as favourites by 3 points, Chris. You went for the Leopards upstairs.
Yeah, I think the Leopards are playing well at the moment. Both teams are playing well, but I think down inside with Youngblood and Moore, I think they'll be a bit more active for the Towers to handle all night.
Malcolm Leek and Robert Youngblood having a little bump and bang off the ball. I'm sure there'll be plenty of that tonight. Burks round the top to Baum. His Blood through the middle, throws it back out. Baum lines up a three off the back of the ring. Moore going after it, tips it to Youngblood.
You see the biggest guy on the floor for the Leopards out on the perimeter shooting threes. That's his role, because they've got, like I said earlier, they got Moore and they've got Youngblood to take up the space in the post.
Youngblood backing in, double team by Lewis, back out to Baum. Again, it's Youngblood inside. Great move by Robert Youngblood past Morten Henlon.
Again, pretty much what we were talking about right off the bat. Quickness down in the post around big Morten Henlon.
Duck replying for the first score of the night for the Towers.
Nice, again, Danny creating for his teammate. Active Duck cutting to the basket.
Burke setting thing up for the Leopards. Moore in the corner. Guarded closely by Malcolm Leek. Goes baseline. Nice move from Tim Moore, but the defense was there from Henlon to prevent it. Moore got it back. Moore strong to the hole, still going after the rebound. He touched it last, and it will be a Towers ball, and he just keeps going after it, Tim Moore.
He does, but it was excellent defense by the Towers, just standing their ground, using their size and making him finish over top of it, which he was unable to do.
Duck hands over to Malcolm Leek. Duck once again on the far side, has Lewis coming up high. Shot clock ticking down now on the Leopards as Leek fires up from deep. Three-pointer is long. Rebound Morton to the finger roll. Goes for it again. Can't get it at the second attempt. And Youngblood's there to pull it down. Baum off and running, draws the foul from Dwayne Morton. There's a guy you don't normally see out running the break.
No, you know, Dwayne had him going in one direction and not really looking to do anything, and he doesn't need to reach in on him. He's the type of guy who, may turn it over if you just keep the pressure on him.
Certainly didn't need to pick up foul number 2 just 2 minutes into the ball game. Tim Moore driving through the middle. Foul call, count the basket.
And that'll be foul number 3, I believe.
It is foul number 3. We played 2 minutes and 5 seconds, and Dwayne Morton has picked up 3 fouls. He's surely got to go to the bench now.
It's been one of those little things that Dwayne Morton's been tagged with all season, is early foul trouble. And it hurts the Towers because he's so active and he's such an athlete in this league that helps teams. And if he's not on the floor, they have to change the way they play.
Henlon got the rebound. Now Lino Fratton looks to his bench to make the change. Henlon sells the fake, steps underneath, not enough juice on the shot, got his own boards though. Oh, great step under from Big Morton Henlon for the layup.
Beautiful move. That's the one he must have learned on the continent, the European step under.
Baum up top again, looking inside for Youngblood. Youngblood lost it, but managed to save it back to Ben Baum. Morton Gottfried on the far side, getting ready to check in for the Towers to replace Morton. Burks driving past Lewis. Great move from Eric Burks.
Shaky defense there by the Towers. Lets him go right around him. No one steps up. You can't give people clear avenue to the basket.
No help defense coming from anywhere there. Lewis round the screen with the quick release 3. Danny Lewis in and out. Youngblood rips it down. Johnson going all the way to the hole. His block gets his own boards to the turnaround. Rashard Johnson end to end. And he needed 2 goes, but got the shot to go.
Outside of Baum's early 3-point attempt, the Leopards have really decided to attack the basket, either in a post-up situation or in the penetration. And Billy's always going on record as saying he loves players who attack the basket. When you attack the basket, good things happen. And they've already got some early fouls on a key player and some baskets out of it.
Dwayne Morton then going to the bench. He's replaced by Martin Gottfried. There is Dwayne Morton on the bench. Averages 15 points a game. I'll be surprised if we see him before halftime. Gottfried. Ducked way short on the 3-pointer. It bounced out of bounds, and it'll be a Leopards ball. 6:20 gone. It's not been a great start for Lino Fratton and his team. He's called a timeout. We'll go down and take a listen.
Hey, I don't care even if we had scored each one. Right. Okay, they have a hard time playing us inside. We didn't even give it inside. Second thing, they're denying the swinging of the ball. It's all right. A single screen instead of a double. All right? We can't reverse it. Play a single instead of a double. Playing 4. When we start playing 4, we have to cut. Not as we were strolling in the park. We had to cut down to try to catch it.
Let Martin take the good white kid, and I take more.
Okay. We'll see about that. We don't have a problem back here. We got a problem there. Let's play 1 a few times. All right, let's go.
We got a rebound down here, though. 1, 2, 3.
Seemed to be a little bit unhappy with the offense of the Towers, that they weren't going inside enough and weren't getting the things. And the shooting there is evident of that. 2 of 7 by the Towers.
Yeah, one of my favorite words, Daniel, is purpose. And he didn't have any purpose in the first few minutes of the game. He wanted harder cuts. He wanted to make a slight adjustment to some of the defensive tactics that the Leopards were employing, and basically, just get his guys refocused. He also wanted him to go down inside, so let's look for that.
Burks. Again, it goes into the post and Youngblood. Youngblood backing in. Strong play by Robert Youngblood, draws the foul, and Malcolm Leake has a word or two to say with Robert Youngblood on that call.
Again, tacking the basket down in the post. Yeah, it just bodied him a little bit there. If he wouldn't have thrown his chest forward and just gone straight up with his hands, he probably wouldn't have been called for the foul, but because he threw his chest into Robert, they're always going to give that foul to the offensive player.
That's the 4th team foul now on the Towers. 3 of them already have sent Dwayne Morton to the bench. Leopards yet to commit 1 4 minutes into the game. Youngblood makes them both, and the Leopards lead by 6. Gottfried. Leak trying to get it into Henlon, but Baum's in the way. Duck driving along the baseline. Now he's under pressure from Burks to get rid. Gottfried pulls up short, and that's not what Lena Frampton was wanting them to try and get it inside there, Chris.
They had 3 options. They looked in there, but I guess they decided they didn't want to give it to him.
Moore dancing through the middle, and once again, once he beats his man, it's quite an easy route to that layup.
Yeah, quick, strong, athletic, a deadly combination in and around the basket. He's one of the best in the league from finishing inside.
The Towers here trailing by 8, and it's mainly offensive. They've only got 4 points in 5 minutes here in the first quarter. Lewis driving to the middle, finds Henlon. Great pass from Danny Lewis to Martin Henlon.
And so far, Danny's been responsible for 4 of their 6 points and dishes, but he's just having to create for them because their offense isn't creating anything on its own.
This time it's Moore on the near side in the low post. Guarded by Gottfried, forced to shoot short. And you'd think in a matchup like that, Tim Moore would look to go one-on-one with Martin Gottfried.
Yeah, I thought he may back him down in that situation.
Leak. Henlon up at the foul line. Gottfried hands over to Randy Duck. Leak pulls up for 3. Malcolm Leak hits the 3, and suddenly the Towers have trimmed it back to 3.
Good shot, stepping out with a hand in his face. They're getting good ball movement, but they're not getting open shots. It's tough to live like this. We'll see if things start to open up for him.
Johnson thought about a reply, opted against it when he saw the defense coming. Youngblood. Johnson screaming for it up top, but Youngblood through the middle to the roll.
Nice ball movement.
Still, the Towers have struggled to get it inside thus far, Chris.
Yeah, they have. I mean, when you got your big guy out here in the perimeter, and Martin will look to work down inside after a screen. Now they need to get it back to him.
Duck pulls up the 3, that's off left. Gottfried going after it with Tim Moore. Last touch by Gottfried, Leopards ball.
Since the departure of Eric Kubel in January, they've really become more of a perimeter-based team. Malcolm Leak's a big guy, but he likes to step out and play on the perimeter. And Ray Schultz coming off the bench is similar. And it really leaves them with only Danny Lewis in the post, fairly good in the post, and Martin Henlon, obviously.
Burks looking for somebody to pass it to. Eventually it had to be Danny Lewis. Lewis had his pocket picked by Burks, who lost it off his leg but saved it.
Great hustle,
Johnson. Johnson going all the way to the finger roll. Great play by Johnson, but credit Eric Burks for the steal at the other end.
Not only did he tap it away, he ran it down out of bounds, saved it to a teammate. You know, we tell guys don't save the ball blind to the basket, but Leopards did a good job pursuing the ball, turned it into easy basket. That's the story of the game right now. The Leopards are getting easy open basket, working hard for it. The Towers are struggling for everything they have.
The Leopards players on the bench there on their feet. The Towers sat very quietly on the bench, things not going their way in the opening period. Nice move again from Tim Moore. He's slippery in that low post.
He is slippery, and there's your side advantage. I mean, Martin Gottfried, good defense on him, but just uses his extra inches and get it up on the glass over top of him.
Leopards lead by 9. Lewis inside to Leak. Double team comes. Leak kick, great pass. Malcolm Leak to Gottfried.
Now, something to watch, Daniel. They've gone inside a limited amount of times, but every time they've gone in through a penetration or a post-up, they've got an easy layup out of it.
Offensive foul called on Ben Baum. He didn't quite get Gottfried with the screen, so he leaned over and just gave him a little bump, and it's got to be infuriating as a coach. If he's missed the screen, he's missed the screen. Don't lean over and try and get him.
Yeah, but as coaches, we put so much emphasis on screening. What he should do is read the play earlier and get there quicker. The other thing, it's the cutter's ball in part because he's got to wait for the screen, because the screen's not very good if it's in the move anyhow.
Great Schultz into the game for the Towers. Adds a bit more height, but as Chris said, he does like to step out on the perimeter. Oh, nice move underneath to the reverse layup from Malcolm Lee.
Towers offense slowly coming alive.
But run right back by Moore, couldn't get the roll. And away come the Towers, end to end. Lewis thought about pulling up, now does from the foul line. He's short. Gottfried got a tip. And this time Lewis will slow it down. Now he lines up a three. Danny Lewis, all string on the three.
No sense of urgency for the Leopards getting out there. You can't allow guys that much space and time.
First score of the night for Danny Lewis. The Towers, who just a few seconds ago trailed 18-9, now trail 18-16. Great pass from Burks to Youngblood, blocked by Henlon though. Schultz going after it, and eventually Tim Moore comes up with the loose ball, and Tim Moore all the way to the basket, to the finger roll.
Got to work hard with a guy like Tim to cut his angles off. It's so effective. We've talked many a time.
Burks with the steal, runs it back and lays it in for two.
Nice finish by Eric, the left off the glass. How many times have we seen Lewis and Burks go at it over the last couple of years?
Seems to be a little bit scrappy, maybe even a bit lackadaisical here in the opening game. Is it because they both know it won't affect their league standings if they win or lose, or do you think there's too much pride at stake for that to count?
I think at this point of the game, I think that's definitely the case. I think as the game heats up, we'll see a much more intense second half.
Johnson tried the tough pass, diving on the floor to get it, will take a jump ball.
There's some intensity for you, though.
There is. Diving on the floor was Johnson after he almost gave it away. Schultz was down with him, and Gottfried, I think, will be nominated to jump by the referees.
At this point of the season, you know, everybody knows where they're finishing. The league's been decided, and now people just can't wait for Monday because it's a whole new lease on life for both these teams, and like everybody else, gear up for something. And you know, it's just human nature to overcome this. And like I said, look for the game to heat up as it progresses.
Johnson, Gottfried wins the tip. Towers with the last 10 seconds hit. Lewis going all the way, strong to the hole and lays it in. But as Lewis went hard to the ground, it gave the referee a chance to stop the game, and Leopards will have a better shot at another go here.
Looked like he may have been clipped on the head.
Offensive foul called on Eric Burks as Danny Lewis got there to take the stand.
Ooh. It was great defense by Danny, no doubt. I'm not so sure. I thought it may have been a travel, if anything, and don't know if there was enough contact there to be an offensive foul.
Certainly was right in front of us. We had a good view at that, and I might agree with Chris on that one. Henlon feeds to Gottfried. Gottfried's got to shoot. Henlon got it off. Did he get it off in time? Billy Mims says no. The referee's going to the table. Did he get the shot off in time is the question. He's asking the commissioner there just to find out whether the shot was off in time. Asking the timekeeper
From my
as well.
vantage point, I certainly thought it was a good basket.
And it is indeed a good basket from Morten Henlon right on the buzzer. And it's been a pretty good fight back by the London Towers. They struggled early, but at the end of one, it's the Leopards 22, the Towers 20. We'll be right back after this.
Vauxhall Vectra, now re-engineered with over 2,500 improvements for maximum comfort and effortless driving. It makes every journey feel shorter. The new Vauxhall Vectra, the end of long journeys.
Vauxhall, raising the standard.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Look, I'm sorry, but I was passing and your door was ajar. I'm afraid you've been burgled.
Joking.
They've completely ransacked the place.
Oh my goodness, you're right. Oh, how awful.
Well, it doesn't look like they've taken too much.
Oh, good.
No, they must have got disturbed and just run off. I better get on and sort it out. Hi, I think it's about time I got a cleaner. Could you manage about 3 hours a week? Great, hang on a sec.
You do not want to see what they have done in your bathroom.
Our busy weekend of live sport continues on Bank Holiday Monday. There's live football at midday, Grimsby against Norwich. At 12:30, there's live Super League, Hull versus Sheffield. And at 2 o'clock, there's live snooker, day one of the British Open. Our live coverage of the fourth test between the West Indies and Australia continues at 3 o'clock. And at 7, there's live Premiership football from St. James Park as Newcastle take on Tottenham. The Leopards have won only 2 of 7 home games against the Towers. They lead today, though, 22-20. Let's get back to Chris and Daniel.
Thank you very much, Kevin. It's a 2-point Leopards lead, as Kevin says. It's been a bit of a streaky game thus far. The Leopards would get up 6, 7, 8, 9 points, and then the Towers would drag them right back in, Chris.
Yeah, again, it's really about, I think, a sense of urgency hasn't settled in over the game for anyone to try to stamp their authority on it.
We're ready to go then with the second quarter. Martin Henlon with an easy win of the tip, but it comes down in the hands of Rashad Johnson, and he'll take it straight to the hole and is fouled by Randy Duck.
Good penetration, gets the contact, but then dishes off after the whistle. Usually you're just told to get that ball up somewhere near the rim.
And you'll get the 2 shots, but instead it's an end-line ball because he did pass the ball off.
Good pressure defense by London out, trying to pressure the ball, take away all their cuts.
Burks now guarded by Gottfried. And they put the bigger Malcolm Lee on Tim Moore. Youngblood going strong to the hole, it bobbled out. Schultz lost it, Youngblood found it and put it back in for 2.
And there's that activity down around the basket I think is going to be so big for them. Just out-quicken London to the ball.
Leak fires up the 3, nothing but net from Malcolm Leak. It's a 1-point ball game.
Towers are now getting wide open shots.
Second 3 of the night, that for Malcolm Leak. Lobbed inside to Moore, good hands from Leak. Burks through the middle, ripped away by Randy Duck. 4-on-2 break, Duck to Leak. Leak going up for the layup, didn't get it to go. Last touch. Out of bounds by one of the Towers, and it'll be a Leopards ball.
Didn't think they had particularly good spacing on that break coming down. Just give him a handoff, get out wide, try and draw, make the defender make a choice.
On a 4-on-2 break, you should always convert early.
Yeah, as a coach, that drives you nuts because those are the easy ones you look back and you want.
Youngblood driving through the middle, pulls up. Gottfried fighting with Bound for it. Lee. Through the hands of Martin Henlon. A little too much zip on that pass. Leopards will get it back.
Trying to make something out of nothing there. Just maybe come out and run your offense.
Here's the shooting stats thus far, Chris. And they're not that bad, really.
No. Yeah, it doesn't really reflect the scrappiness of the game.
9 turnovers in the game thus far, does though. Burks fires up for 3 off the back of the ring. Rebound Leak. Gottfried. And Moore rose highest.
A lot of missed opportunities.
Johnson pulls up for 3. And it rattles in and out. Nino Fratton and his bench there wanting a call to go their way. It wouldn't.
How can that be possible? My God.
See which team's going to settle down here and get a few baskets through execution.
Tim Moore feeds Youngblood. Youngblood fires over Henlon and stretches the Leopards' advantage back out to 3. Lee into Hanlon. Oh, great block from behind. Whistle on the play as Tim Moore came and threw it out.
Well, you and I thought the same thing. I thought that was clean unless he clipped him on. Hey, let's take a look at it here, Daniel. Oh, that's as clean as it gets. That's as clean as it gets. Sometimes a baseline official there's got to work a little bit harder to get in position to see those. Needs to get out wider instead of just guessing.
Billy Mims, I think, agreeing with you there, saying that's not your call. It's the referee up the top's call. There's Billy arguing the case. He certainly didn't think Hanlon was fouled.
I'm sure Billy and I won't agree next week.
No, definitely not. This is a good scouting mission for you here with the playoffs coming up next week against the Leopards.
Last time we were here, the Leopards just totally outplayed us. It was an odd game. I think we put up 55 points in the first half and 22 in the second. And still haven't figured it out.
Martin Hanlon with a long look at the three there. He had a couple of thinks about it and decided, nah, I'll get back inside to where my range is. Duck has Leak coming around the baseline. Leak drives through middle, sells the fake into Schultz. Schultz didn't know where the ball went. Somehow it came into Gottfried's hand and he went strong that time.
Yeah, it was stripped away down low, but he stuck with it. The Towers got really good movement. The players switching side to side, got a couple ball reversals. Allowed for Schultz to seal down in low. Ray Schultz having a solid season for the Towers. Moving over from what was Hemmel, I believe, last year.
Hemmel and Watford last year, yeah.
And he's really come in and he's done everything I think Lino's asked for. He's fit into Lino's system maybe a little bit better than some of the other guys. Certainly off the bat. I mean, the Towers have settled in over the last few weeks. Really put a good run in here to close the season out and going into the playoffs on a high.
7 wins in their last 8 games, the Towers. Johnson dancing through the middle, feeds Moore, who goes up for the slam dunk.
And nice penetration by Rashad. Gives it down in low, you count it there.
Talking about that run that they had with 7 wins in 8 games, the one loss they came was to Newcastle, giving the Eagles a 3-0 sweep of the Towers. And of course, as usual, Towers and Eagles meet in the playoffs.
And I was at that game, and the Towers had their chances down the stretch, and it was just one of those things just didn't go their way, but they played well.
We're tied at 28 then in the final game of the season. It's the London Derby. In fact, no, it's a 1-point Leopards lead, just a change on the scoreboard there. Depish lines up at 3. Pete Depish chasing down his own rebound. Now he takes it through the middle to the little runner. Nice move from Pete Depish.
Nice little shimmy shake there, and he hits the floater. One of the most difficult shots in the game, but nice job by Pete sticking with his play.
His twin brother Paul, of course, who was with the Towers last season. Currently recovering from a serious injury in Germany. Gottfried from the corner with the jump shot, the quick outlet to Johnson. Gottfried's got to chase all the way back, and he commits the foul on Johnson, stops him scoring. But Towers' teammates have got to help him out. He can't be making the shot at one end and be the first defender back
certainly,
at the other.
Usually it's the guy out top who provides balance back, but just to go back for a second, speaking of recovering from serious injury, it's great to see Martin Gottfried back this year and slowly getting back into the swing of things. He was playing so well, and I think he's a heck of a player. I think he does a lot of the things off the ball and just the fundamental things that every team needs. And I was personally delighted to see when he came back in the middle of the season and start picking up more playing time. I don't think that there's any coincidence. It also coincides with the better second half that the Towers have put together.
And by contrast, last season when he went down, if you ask Kevin up in the box, he'll tell you, we just lost the prop last season. Once he got injured, things fell apart for him.
Yeah, he's like the glue. He's one of those guys. Every team needs one. Every successful team at least needs one. And he does all the things that makes everybody's game fit together. And you can't measure that in the statistics column.
Steady Baker checks into the game for the Leopards as Rashad Johnson takes a breather. Duck going past Baker, kicks back out to Hanlon at the foul line. Nice pick and roll.
And well set up by Randy Duck. Took the double team all the way with him to the basket, created space, jump shot.
Tim Moore under great pressure from Schultz, shoots the air ball. Gottfried was quick as there. Youngblood got a knock in the face from Henlon, but now he's running back on D. Schultz, giving some space from deep. Count it for 3. And he's been shooting really well for this season.
He has done, and you know, I said if you have a big guy who can shoot from the outside, it gives your offense just an extra dimension, and the Towers jumped into the lead for the first time in the game.
34-32 as Baker drives through the middle. The foul is on Randy Duck.
Randy a bit upset about that call, but we'll see. Looks like he may have actually lost control, but anytime you swat at the ball, it's an easy call for the refs to make. I tell my guys time and time again, don't be upset if the ref calls. If you swat, you're just drawing attention to yourself.
Something Billy Mims said about Makiba Perry at your game on Friday night, when Makiba thought he'd got a block but came down on Richard Windle with the follow-through on the swat. Deppish from the corner for 3. Rebound Schultz.
Tower set up in his zone there, and Leopards recognized, get the ball to their shooter, but just didn't go.
Schultz. Duck with a quick turnaround. Nice play from Randy Duck. Quick release turnaround over the smaller Steadroy Baker.
Yeah, good movement coming along the baseline. Again, the Towers, you know, since the first couple of minutes of the game, had a lot of purpose in responding to that timeout that Lino called, cutting hard, moving the ball.
Burks penetrating through the zone again. Deppish found open in the corner, but his 3 doesn't go over the back of the ring, and Henlon has it. Leak driving strong to the basket.
Wow, what a move. Just puts his head down.
9 without reply now from the London Towers. And the turnover by Eric Burks. And the interesting thing, they've hit 9 in a row here, the Towers, and they've got Morton and Lewis on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Billy's got to be happy because it may prove his theory true, but he's down by, what is it now, 9.
As Leak hits a 3, his 3rd from 4 attempts this evening.
Still haven't figured this zone out. They've gotten the ball to Deppish. He's missed a couple from the corner.
Burks going along the baseline, nowhere to go for him, and the Towers force them to cough it up again. Duck running back. Duck all the way, hammered hard. Youngblood caught him on the head. Duck couldn't get it to go, and it'll mean Randy Duck will take a couple of free throws as we take another look.
Could have been 2 fouls calling that one.
Well, Billy Mims has seen things fall apart for his team here in the last couple of minutes. He's called a timeout. They trail by 9. Let's go down and take a listen.
Hey, 2 things, all right? First time, we're back out there now, okay? We lost the plot somewhere along the line, okay? 14-2 run. Now, the biggest thing is they've gone back to that 2-3 zone. And you know what? Even though we're running motion, we're standing around. Ben, you run the 3 spot. I want to go red zone. So Ben, Eric, take it to Rashad's side. Rashad goes through. Ben comes up. Ben, I want cutters. First cutter rolls, second cutter steps in. Eric, look for the second cutter or look for the baseline. All right. When it comes to Ben, Ben, look for the baseline. All right. And let's see if we get a shot, baseline, or swing it and look baseline. It comes to you, we still look baseline. Red zone.
There's Danny Lewis. He looks like he's coming back to check into the game, but the Towers have done very well with him on the bench thus far here in the second period. If we look at the points by quarter, 21-10, a lot of it in the last couple of minutes here.
Yeah, they've been sitting in the zone, and Leopards have been missing, and they've been breaking out of it and getting some easy stuff at the other end. Billy calls timeout that wants a motion offense. He had a motion offense rather against the zone. Now he's going to go for some set plays to give his team a set structure to try and attack the zone.
Duck long on the first. And he makes the second, and that's the first free throw made by the Towers this afternoon. Just 1 of 4 from the line. The biggest lead of the ball game so far. the Towers by 10.
And gone back man-to-man. Good job by Lino changing up. We obviously recognize Billy called timeout to get a play. He goes back man-to-man.
Duck has Schultz with a charging foul on Randy Duck. Perhaps didn't quite give the pass up quick enough. And that's foul number 3 on Randy Duck. So that's Duck and Morton, 2 of the starting backcourt on 3 fouls.
Yeah, good hustle there by Big Ben Baum, just standing his ground. Probably should have stopped at the foul line.
Youngblood strong inside once again. Trims it to an 8-point deficit. His team did lead by as many as 9.
And there's a matchup they need to continue to go to. He's been effective every time they've gotten something out of it.
There's the foul trouble. 3 each for Duck and Morton here in the second quarter. Morton had his 3 in the first 2 minutes of the ball game, and we haven't seen him since. Henlon inside to Schultz. Schultz over Youngblood. Rebound to Martin Gottfried.
And it's just one of those little things that he does, keeping the offense alive for him.
Duck with the pass to Lewis. I don't think Lewis was expecting it. Johnson running it back. Johnson finds Burks, and Burks is fouled by Martin Henlon.
Good job by both teams actually creating for other people as they're going to the basket. It's not necessarily the penetrator who's finishing. The penetrator is looking for his teammate.
That's the 9th foul of the half on the Towers. 4 only on the Leopards. Nobody's picked up 2 fouls for the Leopards yet. Burks, no good on the foul shots. He had 26 last night against Birmingham. The leading scorer in the ball game there up at the NEC.
Those return to his MVP numbers.
Rebound, Tim Moore just out leaping everybody there. Burks now up and running, kicks it out to Johnson, sells the fake, backs out behind the arc, and nails the 3. His toes went over the line, so he skipped back and hit the 3.
He's only been here for half the season, but I've noticed this about him. He's one of the best shot fakes in the game. He really sets up this game. Everyone knows he can shoot, so they run at him. He really sells the fake and creates open drives and short shots for himself out of it.
Gottfried from the corner likes that 15, 16-foot jump shot. Again, the fast outlet pass. This time it was from Youngblood to Burks, and Burks diving for it, couldn't quite reach it.
And that's old school Leopard basketball, sitting that 1-3-1 trap. Even though they had scored, they don't care.
Henlon on the buzzer for 3, doesn't go. And at the end of a very good second quarter for the London Towers, they have a 7-point advantage.
And it's a London Derby, and we're at the halfway stage. The London Towers lead the Greater London Leopards 44-37. Stay with us. It should be a much more exciting second half.
The tensions mounting in the Nationwide League. Nerves are getting frayed as teams are battling for promotion and striving to avoid relegation. Sky Sports will be there to the very end. Whatever the team, whatever the division, the fears and hopes remain the same. Grimsby v Norwich, Easter Monday at 12, live, Sky Sports 2.
Does someone you know something you don't?
I'm losing my baby, losing my favorite game.
The Ford Fiesta, advanced enjoyment.
New Homebase Value Basics, essential products at unbeatable prices. Guaranteed.
Now you've got no excuses, Neil.
With Value Basics, you're better off at Homebase than ever before.
The Great Fiesta April Sale. Be there first.
A Sky Premiere exclusive.
Who are you?
Oh, don't be silly, dear. We live here.
You're dead here.
A spirited couple.
We really were the talk of the town.
Perhaps the town should have shut up.
Are giving lessons in love to the living.
You don't want to get married? I've completely blown it with Julia because of you.
James Spader, Michael Caine, Maggie Smith.
You would think that death would allow some respite.
The first British screening of Curtain Call, 9:30 tonight. See it first on Sky Premiere.
More live international cricket coming up for you next week as England take on Pakistan and India in the Coca-Cola Cup. The tournament starts on Wednesday with 4 live games coming up next week. England take on Pakistan in the first match. That's Wednesday from midday on Sky Sports 2. And I'm here with Chris Finch. First half, it seems like there's a lack of concentration out there.
Yeah, the game hasn't really settled into any kind of rhythm or any kind of style. It's just been a bunch of mishmash. But, you know, I think as the game goes on, like I had said in the commentary, I think the emotion will take over and we'll find a lot more passionate display of basketball.
How much do you think this will affect the Towers in the second half? Randy Duck stepping out there with 3 fouls.
Yeah, I think it's going to affect him because, you know, his replacement or his counterpart, his teammate, has also got 3. So they can't pick up anything early, or that's going to influence how they have to play the rest of the half.
Okay, so let's look at some of the first half replays and see what we have. Now here you got Tim Moore basketball. Watch the movement of the Leopards. Great job of moving the basketball. Nice penetration. And Rashard lays it off to Moore. He draws the defense. Schultz. That's what you call team basketball there, which we didn't see a lot of in the first half.
No, it did. They really spread him out. He, got the ball moving. He got to his open teammate. I think when they want easy baskets, they can find them, but they're settling. Both teams are settling too much for early options that aren't necessarily the best options at this point.
The guy I liked in the first half for the Towers, Martin Gottfried. He makes a lot of different things happen, and he did make throughout the first half.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players in the league, especially one of the best British players at his age, just always hustling.
Now, smart play by Rashad Johnson. He challenged on the defense and he took off. This is not Martin Gottfried's play, but he gave the effort for the team.
Certainly, and like I said, everybody needs a guy like him on their team to make everybody else better, do the little things to cover for mistakes. Somebody should have been rotating out back, but they didn't, and he takes away an easy 2.
Martin Henlon gets 3 wide open jump shots in the offense. Do you agree with these shots coming in from him? I think Duck does a good job of penetrating and finding him, but they're giving him the shots. Do you say take these big guys?
Well, I think you say take them, but you still got to get more of a serious challenge than that. You can't. The players at this caliber practice that shot way too much, too good. You got to run out and put a little more pressure on them than that.
Okay, so let's have a look at the match facts and see what they say to us about the first half. Field goal percentages for both teams, you really can't complain.
No, I think you've seen 58%. That's pretty high. I think Leopards haven't been closing down real well on defense.
What I see is the Towers need to stay off the free throw line, and the Leopards need to stay off the 3-point line.
Yeah. 1% is just not going to get it done out there.
Offensive rebounds, 8 for the Leopards. Total they have the advantage right there, but really nothing in it.
No, I look at the turnovers, 14 and a half all together, and then bench scoring. I mean, Billy's gotten nothing out of his bench.
Yeah,
there.
11 for the Towers, which is big. And you see it. The Leopards start off. The Towers go, this is your game, but the Leopards go for the last 6 or 7 minutes after that timeout. It makes a big difference, and the Towers have extended the margin to where now they have a 7-point lead.
Yeah, and the big break there came right around the time when Lino switched to zone, and they just still haven't figured it out. Probably see a little bit more of that in the second half from them.
Okay, so time is running out for you to be our guest at the Wembley Finals. Here's Suzanne with details of our competition.
It's competition time and you have the chance to win a fantastic prize. The winner will receive 1 family ticket to the championship finals on May the 1st and 2nd. They will also receive overnight accommodation and have VIP access on both days. There is also runner-up prizes of a pair of tickets to see the finals. All you have to do is answer this question. Who were the losing semi-finalists in last year's Budweiser Championships at Wembley? Was it A, Sheffield Sharks and Manchester Giants, B, London Towers and Sheffield Sharks, Or C, Manchester Giants and London Towers? If you think you know the correct answer, send it on a postcard with your name and telephone number to the basketball competition, Sky Sports, Grant Way, Isleworth, Middlesex, TW7 5QD. And remember, the closing date is April the 20th.
The Towers had the league's best record in March, winning 7 out of 8. The Leopards were 4-4. Who will win today? Stay with us. You'll find out after this break.
His career spans 22 years. He's held world titles at 4 different weights. And with 57 wins and 45 knockouts, Thomas the Hitman Hearns is back for an awesome night of boxing. And topping the bill, Naz v. Ingle, both unbeaten, but who's unbeatable? In association with Budweiser, next Saturday at 8, Sky Box Office 3. Book now for the early price of $11.95. Call 0990 800 777. Cable customers contact your local operator.
Liz, that proposal.
The one your career's riding on.
It went out?
It was picked up at 5:35 and on the plane at 9:30.
Good.
With UPS, you can not only check the progress of your package every step of the way.
Liz.
It arrived at 9:07 this morning.
You even know who signed for it.
And it was signed for by John Housley.
John Housley? Himself? So what did he think?
UPS online tracking. Consider it done.
Only new Fairy Tab in Tab has the unique blue core that starts cleaning dishes straight away. So even if you don't pre-wash, they all come out sparkling. New Fairy Tab in Tab.
When we moved to the UK, nothing seemed simple.
それはドイリーよ。
Ah, doily. Teapot. For our phone company, we chose cable and wireless because of the simplicity of their price promise.
Either savings on your phone bill or double the difference back. Simple.
I mean, cricket. What's that all about?
Free call 0500 500 500 now.
Are you big enough to be shrunk? Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, the new attraction where you'll be shrunk. Shrunk. At Disneyland Paris.
Live World Championship Boxing coming up next Saturday night on Sky Box Office 3 and Sky Digital. Prince Naseem Hamed defends his WBO featherweight title against Paul Ingle. And also on the bill, one of the all-time greats, Thomas Hearns, takes on Nate Miller for the IBO Cruiserweight title. The show starts at 8 o'clock. That's next Saturday night. For more information, call 0990-800-777. That's 0990-800-777. Our commentators, Daniel Routledge and Chris Finch. Let's get back to Daniel. The Towers lead the Leopards 44-37.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Now, one thing that I find of interest there, Chris Finch, is that Lino Fratton and his Towers are here. We're out very quickly. Billy Mims and his Leopards have only just walked out of the locker room a minute ago, and they've had no time to warm up. Where do you draw the line between how much you need to tell them and getting them to warm up?
Well, you know, I feel that, you know, Billy obviously was in there trying to inject some intensity into them, and probably didn't value their warm-up time. He needed to get their minds focused, get them going, get some emotion into the game, because that's what his team, that's what Billy's all about. He's an emotional guy. He wants his team to play emotionally, and that's when they play best.
Certainly are a emotional team, or have been over the last few years for definite. And it'll be, we're ready to go here. The second half of the final game of the regular season. It's the London Derby, the Towers leading the Leopards by 7, and it'll be Henlon and Youngblood to jump it up. Youngblood tips it all the way back to Eric Burks, and the Leopards will have the first offense of the second half. Blood lobbing inside to Tim Moore. Is that offensive? Yes, it is. Yeah, offensive on Tim Moore.
Good thing it's almost the fourth foul on Dwayne Martin there, but good job getting position defense. He just got to shove.
Morton lines up the 3 off the back of the ring. When you sat on the bench for as long as he has, he wants to get a shot up, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's a difficult one to hit, too.
Tim Moore lobs it to Youngblood, who converts.
Youngblood's been delivering for him all game down in the post. I think it's a matchup they need to go to more.
16 points, 5 rebounds thus far in the game for Robert Youngblood. Duck off the high screen and roll, gets it back to Henlon, who lost it. Trying to give it back to Duck, a sloppy pass picked up by Burks, but Danny Lewis steals it back. Moore has it, and Rashad Johnson lays it in.
Looks like Billy's halftime talks work, not because they've come out and scored the first 4 points, just that they're out in the passing lanes, they're pressuring a little bit more, and defense is all about hard work and intensity, and I'm sure that's what Billy wanted to stress at halftime.
Morton to Lewis. Lewis driving through the middle, flicks it in for 2.
Nice move, great body control. Here he is driving the lane, just and no one closes down to challenge the shot.
Oh, nice lob into Youngblood. He just danced under the basket, still stepped back and went through Henlon for the score.
His quickness is giving Martin all kinds of problems down there. It's a great spin, great footwork by Robert, creating a space and a nice feed.
Leak looking for 3, not quite finding it.
3-point ball game here.
Johnson laying it back up. Duck faked at the 3, and Johnson over the back of Danny Lewis.
Lino wanting a foul on that play.
Getting one a bit later on in the play on Rashad Johnson.
Good job drawing the defense, creating space.
Lino still not very happy on the sideline that he didn't get the foul on the first bit of contact between the 2 players. Morton coming along the baseline. Lewis decides not to give it to him. Fakes the 3, goes inside to Henlon. Henlon looking to work on Baum. Help defense from Moore as Leak pulled down the rebound. Back into Henlon it goes. This time he squares up to Baum, shoots over him, but still doesn't get the roll on the shot.
Really trying to milk that matchup down there that last time down.
Youngblood.
Here's the matchup that the Leopards won.
Youngblood out to Moore at the foul line. Moore back to Youngblood. Oh, nice move from Youngblood and a good feed from Moore to find him.
And what it is, it's really teammates who are drawing attention to themselves. Particularly last few times it's been Moore. Martin just drifts away enough that they can slide the ball by him, and then it's too slow to recover.
Henlon inside. He's blocked from behind by Tim Moore. Leak feeds Lewis. Lewis goes up. And it seems Henlon's involved in the 2 matchups at both ends. His strength against Baum on the offensive end and Youngblood's speed against him at the defensive end.
Yeah, it is. It's both coaches looking to, exploit what they feel they have an advantage at the post.
Lewis off and running. Burks running it back, trying to block him. Can't. Foul call. Basket counts for Danny Lewis.
Nice finish. Good concentration.
Is that one of them plays where as a coach you just think give up the 2 rather than try and go for the block?
Or make sure he doesn't get the shot off, one or the other. I like to see my players challenge everything rather than just be easy baskets. So you want to make sure that he doesn't get the and one.
That's what Eric Burks didn't do, so Danny Lewis at the line with the and one. Lewis up to 12 points. So Billy Mims 8 points potentially from defeat here if Lewis can get up to that 20 mark.
It could be guilty of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
To be fair to Billy, in the 2 games that they played against the Towers, Lewis scored 20 when the Towers won and 17 when the Leopards won. So he's been right in this matchup anyway. Burks dancing through the middle, lays it in.
Yeah.
Is that a technical on Henlon? Henlon was very unhappy with something. And there's been a technical foul called on somebody. It's on Robert Youngblood for knocking the ball away. He'd been warned in the first half by the referee, and once you're warned, there's no second warning. He knocked the ball away, teed him up. Here's another look at the play.
Towers sitting in a zone there. Leopards did a great job slicing through it. Just one of those tactics to slow down the transition game that a lot of teams use, is just get your body on the ball and so they can't get a clean inbounds.
Lewis then will shoot the fouls for the technical. And they're really just wasted points, aren't they, for something as silly as just knocking the ball away.
Yeah, it is. You know, good job by the referee there, warning and then following through the warning with the technical, because it's not really a basketball activity.
It also prevents the fast break, so you got to stop them.
Yeah, you're gaining an advantage by it, and anytime you allow that to happen over a period of time, you know, the team's going to gain something from it. Two-three zone again. Got to move the ball a little bit more. You need some passing, quick passing.
Then you need to look for a quick shot as time ticks down. Oh, wow! Is he a point guard?
That was a good job.
Like that.
Saw the weak side lane was open. Oh, sorry, was shut down, but the middle lane was wide open. Usually you see a big guy like that in contact, it's given a charge, but I guess the referees there ruled that he was too far into the basket. Good call.
Again, they're looking inside for Henlon against Baum. But the double team from Youngblood. Lewis, nowhere to go, is blocked by Moore, and then manages to find a way out of it. Back behind a back pass into Henlon. And eventually they got it the way they wanted to go.
Yeah, Danny and Martin are really looking for each other at the moment. Inside-outside game going.
Danny Lewis, Martin Henlon played in plenty of these London derbies over the years. On the other side, Robert Youngblood, the one man who's been here 5 years, been through all the Leopards derbies here with the Towers.
Not to mention Billy.
And Billy, of course, the coach. Oh, Randy Duck with an and one foul from Ben Baum, and we just said don't give up the and one.
Yeah, I mean, he's there, he's right there. You got to make the foul hard. You got to affect the shot. You know you're not going to get the block. You've already hit him. You're not going to get the ball. You got to make sure that you don't hurt the guy, but you want to make sure he doesn't get a clean look at the basket.
In the halftime analysis there, we had that one where Gottfried ran back and he fouled the man hard enough to make sure he didn't make the basket. And that's what, especially a guy the size of Baum going against a guy the size of Duck.
Exactly.
Duck converts the three-point play, and that has helped the Towers out to a 9-point advantage here in the third quarter. It was down to 1 point at one stage in this quarter.
Billy takes Baum out of the game, gets one of his shooters in, Depish, to try and crack this zone.
Burks penetrating, gives it to Johnson, who also looks for a way through and throws it up off the glass.
Beautiful move there by Rashad. Finishing with the right hand around the bigger Martin Henlon.
It's the shooting percentages as Danny Lewis fires short on a three.
Numbers on the break here.
Johnson looks for a three himself. Off the back of the ring, Lewis going after the rebound, gets it. 3-on-1 break, 3-on-2 break. Duck sells the fake underneath. Oh, short on the shot. Morton, no, he had it ripped away. Johnson off and running, it's 2-on-1 the other way. Double pump from Tim Moore.
A great job there by Rashad, you know, just hustling all over the floor. He hangs onto the ball in the last minute, brings Martin Henlon over, and creates space for his teammate.
Tim Moore, 12.6 rebounds, 5 assists, just another day at the office for him.
Yeah, it's been a great addition to the Leopards. It's joining them early. You know, like I said, they do it all. You had a double-double, and this league's custom-made for him.
Now on that last dunk by Tim Moore, he dunked it so hard he moved the basket stanchion, so they're just trying to straighten it up. The referee's the man there just to make sure that it's as straight as it can. There's the two guys who have to shift it, and they've done it now. It's in line, and it'll be an end-line ball once again to the Towers. In fact, they ain't going to make them walk the distance. They'll take it from the side. Wayne Henry checks into the game for the first time.
It's a big possession last time down. Towers came up empty-handed. They could have gone up double digits.
especially with a 4-on-2 break that they had. Lewis forced to rearrange. Burks with the quick outlet to Johnson. Henry's there, but he can't stop Rashad Johnson, and suddenly it's a 3-point game.
What's going on now is the Towers they're taking quick shots. Here's another one, and they're not converting, and it's leading to the break on the Leopards.
And that's exactly what's happened here as Burks going through some... Oh! He didn't know what to do with it, so he just threw it up in the air, and it almost went in.
Yeah, I thought he came about to touch the floor. I didn't think he managed to get that one up to the rim. Pulls it out for a play. Let's see if we get some execution. Every time they execute, whoever's executed in this game has gotten an easy basket.
Youngblood breaks up the pass, but only a bit as Lee goes inside off the back of the ring. Youngblood with the rebound. And the Leopards have a chance to tie here, but the rebounding has been the key factor here in this last little spell for the Leopards, where they pulled everything down that the Towers had missed. Tim Moore hits the 2 that makes it a 1-point game here in the London Derby with just over 12 minutes to play. Lino Fratton has called a timeout. Let's go down and see what he's got to say.
We gotta know when the shot is going up, or else somebody is moving while the ball is in the air and we get screwed on the fast break. Why don't we run what we run? I don't understand it. In the first half, you get open shots, we score. Now we don't want to run it anymore? Why? Anything you call, if executed with speed and aggressiveness, gets you easy shots. You can't go up and just shoot. Nobody else knows that you're going to be shooting. Let's get back. They've been scoring only on fast breaks. Go. 1, 2, 3.
And on the subject of shooting, as Lino Fratton was talking about, here's the numbers that have come up, and you see it's really fallen away in the third quarter here for the Towers.
Yeah, they've taken contested shots, they've taken quick shots, and the problem with quick shots is, like he said, nobody recognizes that the ball's being shot. No one moves for rebound position. You get caught out of position, you get caught in the transition game.
That's what's happened. The Towers have been rushing their shots. It's not been going, and the Leopards have been running it back for easy scores at the other end in the last couple of minutes here. But it's been a game of spurts and runs here, and can the Towers get one back again now? Foul on Rashad Johnson as Danny Lewis looked for the 3 in the corner, and he'll go to the line to shoot 3.
Cardinals sit, never foul a jump shooter, contested deep in the corner, late in the offense.
Billy Mims obviously not very happy with that call. Always knows where the cameraman is too, don't he? Danny Lewis misses the first free throw. 80% shooter on the season, just about. A bit less than that today.
Danny hasn't really come alive yet today.
Robert Youngblood didn't realize it was a 3-point shot. He went after that rebound, try and con the stats man into a board. I don't think I've ever seen Lewis miss 3 in a row.
I won't bet against him.
He makes the third. And it's a 2-point Towers lead late in the third quarter.
So like I said, you know, foul the jump shooter in the corner and it works to your advantage.
Those were your exact words. Johnson spies a gap that's quickly filled by Duck and Lewis in this 2-3 zone.
No movement there.
Stolen away by Henlon as Lewis is off and running. Youngblood going after him, fouls him from behind. And Youngblood just wanted to make amends for turning it over and not give up an open layup.
Yeah, and his great hustle, you know, coming back down the floor like we talked about earlier, not letting him have an easy basket. We're going to get there, make sure he doesn't get the shot off. Danny a little bit upset, thought it was unnecessary.
7th foul against the Leopards in this quarter. Towers yet to commit a foul in this period. There's a stat for Billy Mims. Somebody run over and tell him that one.
I'm sure he recognizes already. I'm sure he's let Trevor and Mr. Hickman know. But a lot of that's due to his zone. Zone's not an aggressive defense by its nature, therefore you're not going to pick up many fouls. The other thing is the Leopards just haven't really moved against it well enough, particularly the last couple of times down, and haven't executed, haven't posted it up or driven.
Lewis off the back of the line, struggled from the line a minute. Eric Burks rips down that rebound, almost knocked out Tim Moore as he did so. Johnson through the middle, lost it, and Youngblood fouled Wayne Henry. Foul number 3 on Robert Youngblood.
Yeah, they need Robert to stay in the game. He's got to stay in the game. He's got to stay in the game physically. He's got to stay in the game mentally right now.
20 points, the leading scorer in the game. Youngblood, 7 rebounds, the leading rebounder in the game. So they won't want him to pick up another foul and make it a little bit tricky for these last 11 minutes for him.
Don't forget, he's been such a key in this game. He's been such a key in the game in the matchup with Henlon in the post, and they can't afford to lose him because down the stretch, they're going to need that matchup for baskets.
Martin Godfrey checking back into the game for Danny Lewis. Wayne Henry, his first point of the game. There's Danny Lewis on the bench getting a breather. Of course, it was in the first quarter when he went to the bench and Gottfried came on that things happened for the Towers and they pulled away.
Yeah, so sometimes that happens. The bench guys come in, they recognize what needs to be done, and they just go out and do it. Whereas the first team guys get caught thinking in a rut. They want to try and do this same thing over and over again.
Youngblood going to work on Henry, fires over Henry short, good tip, but it wouldn't go for Tim Moore. Leak off and running, he's looking for a point guard, I think.
Yeah, not the most comfortable of sights, handling the ball and the pressure out there. It's up.
Henry, Wayne Henry knocks out the 20-foot jump shot. It's a funny looking shot, but it can be very effective.
Yeah, they all count just the same. He's got that little kick to it, and good execution by his teammates getting him open off down screen.
Johnson driving through the middle, finds Youngblood. Youngblood goes up, and there's the first foul with just 9 seconds. Billy Mims jumping up and down on the sideline saying, we got one, we got one.
Yeah. And look at him over there. He's letting Trevor know about it.
Here's another look at what made Billy Mims leap to his feet. The first foul of the third quarter on the Towns with 10.8 left on the clock. Youngblood way short on the first free throw. Makes the second though. 10 seconds left in the third here for Towers to extend their lead. Duck running it back, stolen away by Burks. Burks off and running Henry with the foul to prevent the fast break.
Thought that could have been an intentional foul there. He just grabbed him around the neck almost, but Rob had a better angle it than we did.
Unsportsmanlike.
Yeah.
They changed the name.
Oh, sorry.
Ball in the front court with 4 seconds left here. Youngblood has it. Youngblood to Burks. Burks going to the layup, to the double. Looking for the foul, couldn't get one. And at the end of 3, it's still the Towers who are hanging on here, but this lead has fluctuated throughout. It's the Leopards 58, the Towers 64. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Vauxhall Vectra, now re-engineered with over 2,500 improvements for maximum comfort and effortless driving. It makes every journey feel shorter. The new Vauxhall Vectra, the end of long journeys.
Vauxhall, raising the standard.
You sure you know what you're doing with that?
Of course, it's simple.
You always say that, and then nothing ever works
I know
properly.
what I'm doing. I mean, it's only a few wires.
Hello, is that Auto Audios?
Mrs. Campbell?
Yeah, he's been having a few problems.
I don't understand it. I'm usually really good with wiring. It came with all the wrong connectors.
A reminder of the busy day of live sport coming up for you on Bank Holiday Monday. There's live football at midday, Grimsby against Norwich. At 12:30, there's live Super League Hull versus Sheffield. And at 2 o'clock, live snooker. Day one of the British Open. Our live coverage of the fourth test between the West Indies and Australia continues at 3. And at 7 p.m., there's live Premiership football from St. James Park as Newcastle take on Tottenham. The Towers led at the half by 7. It's been decreased by 1 for the final quarter. Let's get back to Chris and Daniel.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And Roger Dehaney, the captain of the Towers, checking into the game for the first time here at the start of the fourth. Well, at the beginning of the game, you said Leopards. Chris, are you sticking with Leopards?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking for a big run here in the fourth quarter. I think.
And the ball comes down in the hands of Martin Gottfried, so it'll be the Towers who have the first offense of the final period of the final game of the final full regular season of the 20th century. There's a lot of finals for you. Leak to the fall away with great defense from Youngblood, but he's still got it to go.
Yeah, tough shot. Great shot. Malcolm Leake's had a superb season being able to score inside and outside.
Would you think he'll be in the Budweiser All-Star team at the end of the year? You got to pick the players. Would he get your vote?
I think I put him in there. I can't remember. It's been so long ago.
Deppish lines up the 3.
We had to vote for that a couple of weeks ago, Daniel, and before the league was even decided, or I think it was about, 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I don't even remember who I wrote down. I know I wasn't allowed to vote for any of my own players.
You can't let coaches vote for their own players, or else they'd only vote for their own 10 players. Through the middle is Wayne Henry. Couldn't get it to roll. Deppish lines up the 3 and gets the stroke. He's looking more like the player that hit 28 against you a few weeks ago.
Yeah, if you see me start breaking out in a cold sweat over here, it's because I think we've guaranteed his contract for the next 5 years. When he played us, he was unstoppable. He had a fantastic game.
How long ago that seems in the twists and turns of the league season. Leak penetrating to the hole, draws the foul.
Malcolm Leake really looking to step up, starting off this fourth period. Teammates are looking for him.
Tim Moore picks up foul number 3. Eric Birch now going to the bench, and in comes Brian Moore.
And how quiet's he been, though? I mean, he had a good first quarter and first half in general, but been quiet throughout most of the second half. I think I need to get him involved more.
Malcolm Leake. Customary checking of the wind is the only thing I can work out what that is, where he puts his finger up in the air.
Malcolm's one of the most interesting players to watch. He's got a lot of little antics that he does, things that get him fired up.
Oh, wow. Tim Moore got up real high to rip that one down. That had a chance of perhaps dropping back in, but Tim Moore made sure it didn't. Johnson through the middle. There's Moore again, leaping highest and locking it up with Wayne Henry for a jump ball, but he really can jump, Tim Moore.
Yeah, amazing rebound. Good forearm above the rim on the defensive end, and then runs 94 feet to chase down a missed layup. Great hustle. That's what I was talking about at the top of the program. He certainly can carry a team because he can do a lot of the things that just keep a team going.
What do you make of this Towers 5 out there now with Junior Williams checking in? Malcolm Leake, the only starter left on the court.
Well, more and more the second part of the season, Lino's been going to these guys and they've been paying dividends. Now, I don't know if he's used this exact lineup.
Depp is trying for another three. It won't go. Johnson chasing it down. Also, not a very tall lineup, so they're struggling on the offensive and defensive glass.
Yeah, it's still sitting in the zone.
There's Tim Moore again, and Godfrey gets the rebound. And they've just struggled with the lack of height there, especially it was highlighted on that instance with Leak being the only starter and the only man of any height out there.
Yeah, you give any team 3 cracks at it, they're going to get something out of it. But they're playing hard. They're chasing everything down. They're just not coming up with the rebounds. They may be just looking for a little bit better blend on offense.
Tim Moore misses the first free throw.
Then again, at the end of the day, Daniel, don't forget, I mean, the game it's a big London game, but it's meaningless in terms of what happens in the statistics, the final standings, and he wants to maybe get everybody involved because he knows he may need them in the playoffs.
Some horrendous free throw shooting going on here tonight. .45 and 53% the two teams. Gottfried cutting through the middle, under pressure, knocked away from Depish. It was out of bounds before it was picked up by Tim Moore. So the Towers will get it from the end line. Martin Henlon on the far side saying this from here was Gottfried was a shot, so it should be a new 30. I don't think the referees agree with him. They're now going to talk it over. Good job from Henlon to make that spot.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was myself. It looked like he tried to flip it up to the basket.
Referee said it didn't leave his hand, so it's not a new 30. Doesn't matter because Malcolm Lee, one catch, one shot. Johnson behind the back, through the middle, back out to Depish, lines up another 3, short. And there's Wayne Henry to pull down the rebound. There's a foul called on Tim Moore. Foul number 4 on Tim Moore. And he'll go to the bench, replaced by Ben Baum.
Look for him to sit probably another 2 minutes. He'll be back inside, probably 4.5 minute mark. 2.5 minutes he'll be on the bench.
There's the foul trouble thus far. Duncan Morton had 3 in the first half. Morton had 3 in the first couple of minutes, but they're both on the bench at the minute.
This Towers unit's executing their stuff real well.
Gottfried finds some space for the shot and knocks it out. And as you say, they're running the play as it's supposed to be run.
Yeah, and they end up with a wide open 2. Again, they're more just doing the little things, ball and head fake, jump shot.
Perhaps saw Terrell Myers do something like that on Friday afternoon as Depish goes to the basket.
Nice. Again, we saw another ball and head fake, running out of shooter. If you're a good shooter out there, one of the best things you can add to your game is a ball and head fake. It opens up the whole game, be able to pass, be able to penetrate.
All sorts of pressure on the Towers. Back out to Leak. Leak drains the long shot, and the Towers just kept moving it about until they found the open man.
Telling the VIPs courtside here that he can also shoot the jump shot.
Coming up then at the end of this game will be a review of the season. As Johnson makes a 3, we'll have all the highlights from the package coming up later, all the twists and turns from starting back in September all the way up to tonight's game. It will be a good package, well worth the watch, coming up as soon as this game is finished. Dehaney looking for Williams to go back door. He did at the second attempt. Henry saves it. Depish on the floor, gets it to Brian Moore. Away comes Johnson, 2-on-1. Johnson all the way, misses the layup. Good defense from Gottfried to prevent it, though Billy Mims wanted the foul. I think you can read his lips there. That's a foul, Trevor.
Yeah, Billy, I thought he had got him on the arm a little bit there too. Leopards trapping a little bit more now, pushing their defense out.
Williams in the corner for 3 is long. Gottfried running it down. Gottfried back out to Williams, and he says we've got plenty of time. Let's move the ball around and get into the set offense.
Good job there by Martin tracking the ball down, finds the open man, but Junior just decides that he'd rather see something in a set structure because it's been working.
Gottfried with a pick and roll to Duhaney. Duhaney pulls up. The tip from Henry, picked up by Lee, and Lee slams it home, but the foul was called first, and he'll go to line for 2.
Malcolm's doing it all this quarter. He started off with that nice post move against Youngblood, then he put the ball on the floor, got to the foul line.
And that was foul number 4 on Robert Youngblood. So Youngblood and Moore, 2 of the Leopards' top 3 scorers, and their leading 2 rebounders, have both picked up 4 fouls. Malcolm Leake pleased to see that one go in.
Not only does he check the wind, he also gives himself a little pat for good luck.
They're a superstitious lot of basketball players. Johnson fakes the 3, drives through the middle, dishes out to Baum from 16, and he knocks out the shot.
Nice job by Rashad. There was a ball fake again. You know, Rashad came into the season just basically shooting everything he caught, and I think Billy's done a good job getting him harnessed. And now he's playing with a little bit more control to his game.
Deppich runs it back. Did Youngblood knock that away again?
I think he did. I think
knocked it away, and the ref said, if you do that again, I'll tee you again. I think you must get a second warning after you get a technical.
Is that double jeopardy?
And there's a foul there on Brian Moore. Junior Williams was fouled, and the Leopards coming up court, they recognize the fact that these guys on the court here are not the front line players for the Towers, and they're trying to get some steals.
Looks like Leno's going to stick with these guys. No one's coming to the bench.
Gottfried to Henry, to Williams, and Lee. Duhaney.
Leopard's doing a good job. Oh.
Almost doing a good job until Leake went through the middle. He missed it, though. And at the second attempt, he was fouled by Brian Moore. Robert Youngblood very unhappy with the referee on that call. He's got to be careful. He's already on 4.
I was just about to say, Dan, they're doing a great job of chasing everything down. Then allowed the ball to turn the corner into the middle, and nobody stepped up until after the shot was taken.
There's Malcolm Leake to go through that ritual again. And he makes the first. There's the Towers bench. Dwayne Morton, Martin Hanlon, Randy Duck, Danny Lewis. They would be the starting 4 of the starting 5 right there.
The great thing about that picture on the bench is you can see Big Martin cheering his teammates on. You know, he's just real leader, a real charismatic guy. He's up there pointing to the crowd.
There is Martin Hanlon still applauding stuff. The other end, Johnson hits the 3, and it's a 3-point ball game with 3 to play. Double teamed is Duhaney, and he's knocked to the ground by Ben Baum, and it'll be a foul.
Unfortunate there for the Leopards. They had him in a trap situation. You don't want to foul a guy. You got him 2-on-1. You got him in the corner. Just needed to work a little bit harder to keep him from getting outside of you.
Roger Duhaney then will go to the foul line. Duhaney's only taken 6 free throws all season long.
Let's see if the last 2 times Leno's been in a man-to-man, let's see if he goes back to his zone.
He's made 5 prior to this, but he couldn't make that one right there. Misses them both right here. 5 of 8 on the season.
Big possession in the ball game right here.
And Johnson almost lost it, but somehow got it to Baum. Baum for 3 off the back of the ring, and Williams did enough to tip it to Leake. Leak spinning.
Don't get a foul,
Youngblood's there.
Robert.
Yeah, Youngblood on 4 fouls. Williams faked the 3. The fans behind him disappointed he didn't take it, but Henlon was up to applaud it. They're looking to take some time off the clock as well. They still have this 3-point lead against their arch rivals. Williams. Over the back, rebound Lee. And the Towers will tick it down. Bookmakers said Towers by 3. Chris Finch went the other way, said Leopards. Oh, great pass, and Henry went up for the slam. Great pass from Roger Dehaney.
Foul number 5 on Youngblood.
And Youngblood leaves the game with 21 points, 7 rebounds. He's had a good, strong game, but now without him, Billy Mims will call a timeout. There's Robert Youngblood going to the bench for the 5th foul. With 2:13 to go, the Leopards trail by 3. Billy Mims has caught it. Let's take a listen.
All right, come here. Listen to me. Now, listen. Every time we're going to go 100 team. Every time, make it or miss it, they're 100 team. The guys we don't want to foul are Junior Williams, a little guy. He wears 4, doesn't he? Don't foul Junior Williams. All right? We trap him, but we don't foul him. Invite the ball to Duhaney or Henry. All right? Henry's a pretty good shooter. We have to take our chances somewhere. All right? We want to foul either Godfrey, Henry, or most importantly, when Duhaney touches the ball, foul him. Duhaney touches the ball, foul him. On offense now, we got to go. Ben, you're right. You go in now, Ben. I need you to give me a rebound. Eric, you got the ball. Brian, Pete, Rashad, I want to penetrate, spot up. See, that's it. If you can get all the way to the hole, look for Ben or get fouled, go to the hole.
Back out then, so Billy Mims looking to probably go full court defense. And when they get the ball, he knows who he wants to foul, Roger Dehaney.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think it's a little bit early to talk about who you want to foul. Still got a chance to come down and get a good stop on your next defensive possession. But he's just alerting these guys to who shoots better off the line for the Towers.
Williams it is at the line now. Sorry, Wayne Henry at the line. He's a 67% shooter on the season. Misses them both.
Tim Moore about to check back in here for Billy.
Depish pulls up for 3. That one's long. Henry can only tip it down. Duhaney going after it. But Depish with the extra height will get it back. Brian Moore to tie the game again off the side of the board. Duhaney got it, and they said foul him. And foul him they did.
Brian never looked comfortable settling into that shot.
Rashad Johnson picks up foul number 3. He turned to Roger Dehaney and said, Billy told me to foul you, so I did. There's Tim Moore checking back into the game. 14-9, so he's a rebound away from his season average of a double-double. Wayne Henry going to the bench.
I'm a little bit surprised Billy didn't come with him earlier. But I guess because they were sitting in that zone, he thought he'd stick with Baum.
Roger Dehaney rattled one about, and he turned to the Towers fans. There's Henlon back in the game now. Gottfried's back in the game as well for the Towers. And Duhaney makes them both. So he doesn't know his work when you tell him who to foul. Johnson penetrating, dishes inside. Foul call, count the basket for Tim Moore. And it was a soft foul inside by Gottfried.
Good job by Rashad doing exactly what Billy asked for, was penetration and looking for the kick out, but everyone ran to the ball, left him wide open underneath. And then soft foul, very soft foul. You're right, Daniel. You don't want to give up those kind of fouls either, because that's what can make a comeback much easier.
Steadroy Baker checking in for Pete Depish. Eric Burks also coming into the game.
Good.
There's Steadroy Baker. Very small lineup out there now for the Leopards.
Yeah, but it's quick. He's got his defensive pressuring lineup. Look for him to trap.
Is that 2? Is that 2? It looked like it was tipped by Henlon. The referee's only given 1 point for the free throw, but it did look like Henlon tipped that one in. Stolen away by Eric Burks. Back come the Leopards. Leopards looking for the lead. Johnson for three. Yes! And the Leopards are in front. And timeout has been called by Lino Fertin with 1:29 to go. They trail by 2 now, the Towers. And let's take a listen to Lino's timeout.
Danny for Martin. Now, hey, on offense, we just got to run something. Keep good spacing if we don't have a set play. On defense, we have 2 team fouls. We can use 2, okay? Want to go back man to man? Let's go back man to man. Let's go back man to man, ready to switch. Look at me if we go into 2. All right, let's go. Right here. Come on, right here. Together. 1, 2, 3.
Well, the Leopards took the lead here off a good defensive knockback by Eric Burks. Rashad Johnson came back with it and hit the big shot, Chris.
Yeah, and this, you know, you gotta love about Rashad. He's got the ability to create his own shot. Dead-eye shooter out there, and he seems as the game gets going, his accuracy increases. I saw him against the Leopards down here. I saw against Manchester down here, and he seemed to hit 5 or 6 down the stretch.
The Leopards with their first lead then since the second quarter here in the dying seconds. But Danny Lewis back into the game now for the Towers.
Henlon. Lino counters with his veteran ball handler. Danny's been here so many times before.
Lewis had it knocked loose, gets it back to Junior Williams. Shot clock ticking down. Williams fires it up for a spectacular 3. It doesn't go. The 2 Leopards fighting for it, and it was Duhaney who got the hand in last to knock it away.
Great defense, chasing everything down, cutting them off, forcing up a desperate attempt by Williams. Then got a little bit fortunate on the rebound. Thought it might have, with 2 guys there, usually it comes off of one of your own guys, but Duhaney managed to sneak his hand in there.
Towers back in this man-to-man defense. Burks just looking to tick time down off the clock. Now the shot clock into single figures he'll have to go, and he does go against Malcolm Leak. Out to Johnson. Johnson with the fall away, diving to the ground looking for a foul. Didn't get one, but there was a whistle underneath, and that was on Tim Moore, and now he's fouled out of the ball game.
That's bad. That's bad news. I'll tell you why. If it goes to overtime, they're going to really miss Youngblood, and they're really going to miss Moore. I felt the keys for the Leopards this game were those 2 guys having to produce down inside. For the most part, they have done, but they're not going to be there down the stretch to do it.
Billy Mims now with 25 seconds left in the game is going to call a timeout. There'll be 2 shots for the Towers after it, and his side lead by 2. Let's go down and take a listen to Billy.
Hey! Last time out I got. Last time I focused. First of all, you ain't gonna make them up. You got to rebound. You got to rebound and you rebound. I got shooter. No, he's got the shooter. I want to get a bigger body. All right. You get Leak. All right. You go into one side. You go into the other side. Watch him try to come across. All right. All right. Get there before they can cross. Put a body on it. Pete, take it out. He's down there anyway. Pete, take the ball out of bounds. I want Rashad or Eric to get open. All right. If they make both of them, I want to hit the last shot and go to OT. Go to the back. On offense, we're going to sit on it. With about 8 seconds on the clock, we're going to go 14. You take it to the hole. All right? Hey, man. Go to your basket for the tip there.
Back out come the Leopards from their timeout. Now, whatever happens, the Towers have got to make these 2 free throws here just to tie the game up, or else Leopards can run timeout.
Yeah, and Billy set his play for a tie game situation, and he looks like he's going to go the same play they did the last time down. Will drop everyone to the baseline and look for Eric to penetrate.
Now, we always talk about the fouls against hurting. It can sometimes hurt when you haven't got enough. Towers have only got 2 team fouls against them, so they have to foul the Leopards twice before they can shoot free throws, should Malcolm Leak not make both of these free throws.
And the other thing it does is allow them to go out and play extra aggressive and not have to worry about sending them to the line.
Leak, a 73% foul shooter on the season, makes the first. This to tie the big London derby, but the Leopards will have the chance for the final shot of the game. Ooh, it was short, but it went. Now the Leopards with the final offense, potentially, of regulation time. Burks. Danny Lewis on his haunches in front of him. He could blow by him now, he wouldn't realize. MVP of last year, Eric Burks, looking to go and win the game here. Williams comes around from the weak side, and there's the foul, but there'll be no free throws because the Leopards are not in the penalty. Towers are not in the penalty.
I don't know if that was a call in Lino's huddle, but if it was, it's a good move. Maybe left a little bit too much time.
4.9 seconds left. Is it overtime or the Leopards win it here?
They're going to win it.
And the foul is on Martin Henlon, and that's the last one. He had a smile on his face there. We lost a second off the clock. Now they got a shot with 3.8. Now you had 3.5 on Friday. Who's the Terrell Myers on the Leopards team for you?
Yeah, the ball's going to go to Rashad.
Rashad Johnson. It goes to Baum first. Baum looking for Burks. Burks from way out to win it! Off the back of the ring. And the final game of the season is going to overtime, Chris Finch.
I don't know what, they didn't seem to have a set play there, but they got a good look at the basket. Nonetheless, just carried him off the back.
They didn't seem to attack it. I mean, he was shooting that from 28 feet.
Yeah, I mean, 3.5 seconds off an inbound situation is an eternity. Because once the ball enters, the clock then starts. And we like to look at it like this. Every second is an action. A dribble is a second, a shot's a second, and a pass. So you could have taken 2 dribbles and a shot, or pass a shot.
A head fake, a step under a player, and a shot.
Exactly, and we work on those situations in Sheffield. End of clock, we just replicate the end of the clock situation to give the confidence to our players that they know how much time that internal clock.
So who do you think overtime favors here? I mean, because usually there's one team that's got away with it, got snuck into overtime. It didn't seem that either team really snuck into it.
Leopards made a great push getting them back into the game, and you would think that the momentum would have carried them through. But don't forget, they lost 2 key players and guys down in the trenches who help you to stabilize if you get a lead. And in overtime, it's about getting a lead and protecting a lead as much as anything.
Malcolm Leak with 12 of the 16 points for the Towers in the 4th quarter there. He had to do a lot there on his own in there, but he's playing well at the minute. He's only on 1 foul, and as we said, Moore and Youngblood already fouled out. Here's the leadometer in the game up to this point, and it really, Towers took over in the middle there, but Leopards just came back at the end.
Yeah, it's been an odd game in terms of that. But I think going back to Malcolm Leak, he really looked to step up in the beginning of the quarter. He scored in all different ways, and we'll see if he can keep it going. He gets a nice breather there. He had to exert a lot of energy both playing on defense and on offense.
Towers back out with their starting 5 now after they went with the bench players for long periods in the final quarter. And here's another little Billy Mims theory that I've picked up along the way. The first team to score in overtime wins the game, according to Billy.
Yeah, I think it's documented something like 60%, but 60, that's not big of a margin. Dave Atwell checking back into the game for the first time in a long time.
Johnson going for the score, misses it, 3 attempts and scores. So if Billy Mims' theory's right, his team's on their way to a win. Morton, who spent a lot of time on the bench in this game.
Yeah, he's been a non-factor.
10 minutes only in the game so far. He had 3 fouls in the first 2 minutes. Steps under, fires too long. Leak going after the boards, couldn't hang on. And it'll be an end-line ball to the left.
And that's the second forced shot he's really taken. Coming back after halftime, he took a badly forced shot. It's not how you get yourself into the game. You just let the game build around you and let it come to you.
Burks. Atwell, as you say, checking into the game. They need somebody in there to rebound with no Youngblood and no more. Depish to the runner, converts.
That's his shot. He hit one early in the lane. Big body, get up and shoot over people. Nice touch.
Leopards with the first 4 points here of overtime. Duck. Again, they try and go inside to Henlon against Baum. Henlon to the spin, is short on his shot. Morton going after it, fighting with Depish. Comes out to Duck. Leak wants it at the top. He's open for three. His toes are on the line. It doesn't go. And Eric Burks with the rebound. And the Leopards with the chance for the first 3 scores of overtime.
I bet you the percentage of teams that win after scoring on the first 3 is a lot higher than the first one.
It is pretty high.
Good patience here by the Leopards, making sure they get a good look at the basket.
Baum knocks it out, and the Leopards have hit the opening 6 of overtime. Without Tim Moore and without Robert Youngblood.
They're just gutting it out. Look at the Leopards bench. They're all up. Said they're big team on emotion.
Good hands from Depish to knock it loose. There is the Leopards bench. They're on their feet, trying to cheer on their team. Depish thought about the 3. Shot clock now ticking down. Burks penetrating through the middle. Throws it away. Lewis knocks it loose.
Gotta get
Depish has it. They've got to shoot. Down to 3. Baum to Burks with 1 on the shot clock. Yes! Eric Burks! What a huge shot! And the Leopards have scored the opening 9 points of overtime. 2:13 to go. And Lino Fratton has called a timeout.
Oh, wow. Big play by Eric. Great job. And there's the emotion we were talking about. When you play on emotion, anything can happen.
Let's have a listen to Lino's timeout then.
Open shots. Depish 1 dribble, easy one. 3 rebounds for the guard, and a 3 out here. Baum is a shooter. He is not a center. So deny him. On offense. Let's play thumb, quick thumb, okay? But we need to get a little bit of movement. We're standing around hoping.
Yo, ain't time to be scared now. It's time for ball. You get down here, what you gonna do with the ball?
Right. Let's go, 1, 2, 3.
Seemed quite disappointed with the defensive performance of his players, not recognizing Baum as a shooter.
Yeah, he was upset with open shot opportunities that the Leopards had gotten. But credit to the Leopards, they really settled down in this overtime, and every shot they got, they worked for. And even that last shot, you know, they chased the ball down, and when you play hard, the harder you play, the luckier you get, they say.
Blocking foul is called on Randy Duck, an offensive foul. And the Leopards fans are on their feet with that one. It's his 4th personal foul. Team possession though, so it'll be a sideline ball to the Leopards. Burks to Johnson.
Again, taking the shot clock down as far as possible before getting a shot up.
Billy Mims says go for it now. Great pass into Baum. Depish for 3 from the corner, knocks it out. And I'm pretty sure the team that scores the first 12 points in overtime 100% of the time wins the game.
Yeah, Billy's out to set a new trend here today.
12 points without reply here in overtime. The Towers yet to score. Malcolm Leak inside to Lewis, and there's the first score of overtime for the Towers.
Gonna have to push their defense up. They're gonna have to take some chances.
Lewis hasn't yet topped 20 points. He's only got 18. Billy's other prediction is looking to be coming true if they can just stop Lewis from scoring in the last 60 seconds here. Baum lines up another three. No, not this time. And Henlon pulls it down. Away comes Malcolm Leak. Leak knocked loose by Depish. Great hustle from Pete Depish. And Eric Burks kept it in bounds.
There was excellent hustle. Leopards have just been chasing everything.
Foul called on Wayne Henry. Now, Billy Mims said earlier this week, there are two things you want to do at the end of the season: beat the Towers and go to Wembley. He looks to be on his way to beating the Towers right here. Is he going to get to Wembley, Chris?
I would like to think not, but we'll have to wait till next week.
Of course, faces a 3-game series with Chris Finch and his Sharks in a bid to get to Wembley. Last year, the Leopards missed out on Wembley when they won the league and allowed the 8th place Manchester Giants to beat them in the 3-game series. Billy Mims is hoping history repeats itself this year. Baum makes both free throws, and the Leopards have really tore the Towers apart here in overtime.
Yeah, they have. They've been real active, and they've had the right combination of being active on defense.
Duck knocks out a 3, trims it to 9. The long outlet to Burks. Burks thought somebody else was there. He throws it up to Baum, saves it to Atwell. Johnson gets it. How on earth did the Leopards keep hold of the ball then?
And they still end up with the pause.
Malcolm Lee called for the foul, but what an amazing sequence of just saves by the Leopards to keep it alive.
I think it's safe to say it looked like the Towers just gave up on that possession. They just had plenty of opportunities to run the ball down.
It's game over now, says Billy Mims. Lloyd Gardner checking in for the first time, receives a hug from Eric Burks on the way out. And you just wonder whether the Towers went a little bit too long with their bench players in the 4th quarter to allow the Leopards to get back in here, Chris.
Well, I think maybe the combination of all of them on at the same time hurt them, but they were playing well for a couple minutes. But maybe Lino shouldn't have pressed his luck, and he should have brought his starters back in slowly over time.
Johnson makes both free throws. The Leopards have only once beaten the Towers in a head-to-head series. They look like getting the second one right here. Danny Lewis fires up for 3, doesn't go. Rebound Ben Baum. And away comes the Rashard Johnson with the behind the back. And he's just going to run time down now. Towers ain't going to foul them, and they're not going to look to shoot. Time ticks down. Ben Baum's going to dunk it. Martin Henlon looks at him like, what are you doing?
Well, he wants to play. He said, I want to play.
So does Malcolm Leak. He's going to run it back and pull up for 3. And hits it. Malcolm Leak hits the 3, but the London Derby and the head-to-head series has been won by Billy Mims and the Greater London Leopards. And I just want to say to Billy Mims, qualify Billy Mims' theory: Danny Lewis 18 points, Leopards win.
Yeah, top prognosticator today. I'm going to take Billy up to Vegas with me.
What was the key for you here tonight, Chris? It was hard to pick anything between them, and then in overtime it was just tremendous shooting by the Leopards.
I'll tell you what it was. I think it was heart, it was emotion, it was desire. They didn't want to give up. They didn't want to fold. They weren't playing well. They were falling behind. The shots weren't going in, but they kept sticking with it. Billy did a great job of inspiring his guys, even when they lost their 2 big guns, their 2 big guys down low. And look at them celebrating. They're celebrating like they won the championship, and it means a lot because now a new season starts, and they've got the right attitude going into that.
Youngblood and Moore did have great performances before fouling out. 21 points, 16 points each. It's been a good night for the Leopards. They've beaten their crosstown rivals in overtime.
What a great comeback for the Leopards. They win by 10, 98-88. Down on the floor, Eric Burks, 5 steals, 7 points, or 9 points. Rashard Johnson, Leopards leading scorer with 26 points. They join Suzanne.
Thanks very much, Kev. Rashard, that 3-pointer towards the end of the 4th quarter, very important for you.
Thank you. I'm just happy that it went in, We needed a big shot, and luckily I came through and made it.
With 26 points on the board, you must be pleased with that going into the playoffs. It's going to be quite a difficult playoff for you against Sheffield.
Yeah, personally, it was a good game for me, but as a team, I'm just glad that we came out and we got a win. London Towers are a real good team, and we needed to win bad. We haven't been playing too well lately, and we needed to just win bad.
You certainly got it. Eric, come in and join us again. You've done it. You've been there. You bought the T-shirt. You know what it's like, don't you?
Oh, yes. It's great to beat the Towers head-to-head. Even though we're 8th place and they're in 4th, and neither one of us have won the title, it's always good to beat them. And, you know, they're always going to come in and give us a great game. Whether they win some, they lose some, they've always been competitive.
Now, going back to the beginning of this game, guys, you know, it was a slightly scrappy start, but you worked hard for those open baskets, which you got.
Yeah, we knew that they were come out fighting. You know, the game didn't mean anything for either way for the standings, but you know, it's a rivalry. So you got to come out, you got to play hard.
And it's a strong rivalry. Now, Eric, in the second quarter, they had a 12-0 run. That looked like they were going to run away with it.
Well, we lost our concentration in the second quarter. We didn't execute as well as we did in the first quarter. So, you know, they capitalized on the mistakes we made. But we came back in at halftime and refocused and regrouped and came back in the third quarter. And, you know, we had a great effort from everybody.
Well, Eric and Rashad, well done. Good luck in the playoffs. And Martin Hendon, well, he's got heart, hasn't he? Back to you.
Okay, Suzanne, thanks for that. I think Lino Fratton, when he looks back at this, is going to think I made a big mistake in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, maybe he was experimenting with some of his guys and trying to get, you know, keep some starters rested for the playoffs, and maybe he thinks he's going to need some of his bench guys. But the combination for me just wasn't right, not for the length that he stayed with.
The Leopards came out in that overtime hotter than a firecracker.
I'll tell you what, Billy says they scored the first one and went off from there, and they did well. They just chased everything down, made things happen. They were patient, and then when you do that, play hard, things like this happen.
Yeah, you know, that was their third consecutive three-pointer for the overtime.
Yeah, I think you call that one the backbreaker right there.
Yes, you do. Now, down on court is the winning coach himself, Mr. Billy Mims, with Suzanne.
Thanks very much, Kevin, and little Courtney joins us as well. But Billy, you've got to say, you have these theories, don't you? You have a theory, and you say whoever scores the first score in the overtime is going to take the game.
Absolutely, and I mean, we came out with a big tip. We got the ball quickly, and we attacked the basket. All night long, our philosophy was to be the aggressor. And I think in the overtime, a 12-0 start to the OT showed we were the aggressor. Say, go Leopards. Say, go Leopards.
Go Leopards. Oh, bless. Well, they will have to now for the playoffs. Now, you know, Finch said during that commentary that Rashad really is one of the best guys at faking the shot.
Man, but he stepped up tonight, though. I mean, he just made some. I mean, we had some big shots. In the comeback, Pete Deppis made some big shots. Rashad. And what about that three-pointer by Eric Burks? We threw it all over the court, wound up in Eric's hands, clock running out, and he scored.
Now, what was going through your mind when that went down to overtime, not having Moore and Youngblood back on court?
Well, all year I've said we've got the depth to compete in tough situations. And tonight, it's one of the few times we've really shown that depth is positive. Tonight, the depth carried us through.
Now, both of these teams tonight both changed their guards in January. She's getting excited. In January, and your fortunes took an upturn for both teams, actually.
Well, we had a great January. They had a great March. I said coming into this game today, the Towers, probably the hottest team in the country. Won 7 out of 8 games in March. We might have been the coldest team in the country. We were 3-5, I think, in our last 8 games. So today was about capital pride. I've always said this is the Capital Cup, and believe me, it means an awful lot to me, to Robert Youngblood, to Eric Burks, to our entire organization, Ed Simons, everybody involved. This is the Capital Cup, and this year again, bragging rights in the big capital go to the Leopards.
You said it all, Billy. We wish you all the best for the playoffs, and he's got another sore throat. Back to you, Kev.
Hey, as many people as he was congratulating me, I thought he won an Academy Award or something. All right, now, the show continues after the break as we look back at the 1998-99 season, a time in which Chris Finch can smile about, and there are plenty of remarkable moments, so stay with us.
For Sky Sports fans, every angle's covered.
It's a dream double for Arsenal. The champions have won the FA Cup.
The biggest football club in the world.
On television.
This is MUTV. 7 days a week.
Get closer.
The biggest news stories.
This is Sky Sports News.
5 Nations comes alive.
There's only one place to get all these great channels. Sky Digital. TV as you want it.
got an idea. While you've got that open, we could lay our new gas main in it.
What a good idea. That would save digging a road up again and causing the public more inconvenience.
Excuse me, mate. You won't mind if we stuck a cable in there at the same time, would you?
The more the merrier.
I've got a phone line.
Anyone else?
How refreshing. How Heineken.
Somewhere.
It's the new me. Do aliens really exist?
Somehow.
I didn't even know you had a bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
There is a way. Hey. To put things back how they were.
I am not your husband. We are complete strangers.
Before it's too late.
Oh, yeah. What have you guys been flying out there?
I love this job.
A brand new X-Files tonight at 9 on Sky One.
Mulder.
In the last regular season game of the season, the Greater London Leopards beat the London Towers by a score of 98-88. The Leopards started the fourth quarter down by 6 points, end up winning by 10 in overtime, and what a basketball game it turned out to be. They win the series for the season, the London Derby, by 2-1. So we've reached the end of the regular season, which has provided us with some fantastic action. Let's remind ourselves of how the most exciting and competitive season in British basketball unfolded. On Saturday, 12th of September, the last full season of the 20th century tipped off. There have been 8 coaching and 81 player changes during the closed season as all 13 clubs strove for glory. The twice defending champions, the Greater London Leopard, began the season with just 2 familiar names, Captain Robert Youngblood and the ever-confident coach Billy Mims. Eric Burks re-signed too late to play the opening encounter against Newcastle, but the Big Cats came away with the win. Most of the talk preseason centered on Manchester's dream team. A salary cap debate resulted in point guard Porter Roberts leaving after just 1 game. Any thoughts about handing the title to the Giants were put on hold as early as Game 2.
The Giants have lost.
Sheffield had quietly strengthened their squad with new boys Matt Gaudio and Travis Conlon. By the end of September, the Sharks were emerging as title contenders, topping the league with a 5-0 record. Terrell Myers was named Player of the Month. The perennial basement team, the Hemel and Watford Royals, returned as Milton Keynes Lions. Rookie coach Andre Lane led them to a win in Game 1. Jim Brandon moved north to work his magic on the league's new team, the Edinburgh Rocks. Bob Dunnywald and Leicester had parted company in the closed season, only for him to recruit a totally new team on behalf of arch rivals Derby. Finishing the opening month with just 1 defeat took many by surprise, but rewarded the play caller with his first ever Coach of the Month title. Greater London's joint 9th position was reflective of their struggling status. The Storm's Wild Boys, Williams and Alderson entered the Giants' house looking for an upset. Nick Nurse arrived in style in front of old friend Bob Dunnywald. Derby challenged bravely, but could not match the might of Manchester. Tony Dorsey claimed the Player of the Month award. On All Hallows Eve, Sheffield, still unbeaten, faced Newcastle.
Trick or treat.
The Eagles failed to spook the Sharks, who remained at the top of the table. Sheffield's 100% winning record earned Coach Chris Finch the title of Coach of the Month. Gene Waldron was the first player to break 5,000-point mark with 1 club. Worthing coach Chris Pullum resigned, replaced by Sean Lukes. Leicester signed old boy Carl Brown. Going into November, Sheffield and Manchester were setting high standards for any other team looking to join them in the race for the title. At the Derby Storm home court, Sheffield's luck turned. Firstly, they lost big man Matt Gaudio to a career-ending knee injury, and then their first game of the season. An unhappy Birmingham camp came next to face the Storm. York Williams stole the show, proving his abilities worthy of his first England cap. Thames Valley were next to exploit the weaknesses in the Bullets team. Casey Arena and November Player of the Month John McCord helped the Tigers record a 10-point victory. Around the league, changes were being made. Paul Burke became the 3rd player to be released from the struggling Leopard squad replaced by former Giant Peter Depesh. All-time veteran Peter Scanterbury was cut from Newcastle. And finally, Damon Page parted company with the Edinburgh Rocks. Sean Bell assumed the vacant position. Whilst Manchester and Sheffield continued to pull away from the pack, the table was certainly hotting up in the battle for the top 8 spot. Edinburgh finally picked up win number 1 over Worthing. Christmas festivities started early north of the border, where Edinburgh hosted a resurgent Chester.
Berry with the last chance to win it. Berry! Yes! Yes! Berry on the buzzer! The Edinburgh Rocks have won their first home game.
There were more changes in the Edinburgh camp. Brad Waddell was released. Ex-Giant Michael New rejoined Jimmy Brandon. Ex-Tower Neville Austin signed for Thames Valley. The Sheffield Sharks started the new year on a high. In a close-fought battle against Greater London, Sheffield claimed the National Cup. That victory was followed up with a nail-biting meeting with their top-of-the-table rivals, the Manchester Giants. Sheffield came out hungry, as did Manchester's Player of the Month, John White, who netted 28 out of the Giants' 32 first-half points. In a dramatic game for foul trouble, the Sharks were without Cawthorn, Johnson, and Myers. Manchester hung on, but Sheffield veteran Peter Scanterbury rose to the occasion, and the Sharks took the away win. The Leopards were looking hard to turn their negative record around and secure themselves a playoff spot. Having won their last 2 league games, a third over their crosstown rivals, the London Towers could not have been sweeter, leveling the series at 1 apiece. With the deadline looming, a few changes were made. Eric Kubel became a Towers casualty. Point guard Randy Duck took the spot, with the departures of Robinson, Guitar, Considine, Chris Webber, Justin Phoenix, and ex-Birmingham Championship winner Amiko Atete were welcome additions to the Slimline Bullet Squad. On Sunday, the 31st, the meeting between Chester and Derby became the first game in league history to be abandoned. The behavior of players from both teams disgraced the sport. Chester's Sean Hartley and Derby's York Williams and Rico Alderson all faced disciplinary hearings. The top 2 sustained losses during the month. At the bottom, teams were rapidly gaining wins and creeping up the table. The league was certainly beginning to show signs of being more competitive than ever. In the first game of the month, Manchester were at home to Greater London.
Holly fires up on the buzzer, yes!
The Uniball Trophy was taking shape with the semi-finalists decided. The first matchup brought together title rivals Sheffield and Manchester. The second, Midland rivals Derby and Leicester. With decisive victories over the defending champions, Manchester secured a spot in the final, their first since 1995. The presence of William and Alderson against Leicester were invaluable. A 13-point advantage going into the second leg proved enough to send Derby on their way to their first ever final. In the league, Derby did what very few other teams have managed to do even once this season. In the final farewell of Williams and Alderson before their respective bands commenced, the Storm defeated Sheffield for the second time. The All-Star game was the finale of the month. The big names from around the league were in Newcastle, where the South emerged victorious. The star of the Edinburgh Rocks, the Norths, Ted Berry, claimed the MVP award. Worthing won their first game after losing 30. Sean Hartley banned for 7 games. Rico Alderson banned for the rest of the season. York Williams banned for the rest of the regular season. Nick Nurse took his second coaching award. His former assistant at Birmingham, Nigel Lloyd, took the players. So, moving into the final weeks of the season, the league leaders were level, with 7 games each left to play. With every game crucial, Sheffield's league campaign was suddenly in jeopardy.
What a huge victory for Billy Mims and his Leopards.
We still win all of our games. We win the league title.
A week later, all league aspirations were put on hold for the long-awaited Uniball Trophy final between Derby and Manchester. The Storm produced a bold performance, but a Manchester squad determined to win their first ever trophy put an end to Derby's dreams. The following Friday, Manchester resumed their league campaign on the floor of title rivals Sheffield. In the second period of overtime, with 0.2 of a second on the clock, Todd Cawthorn missed the final shot, but was fouled by Kevin St. Kitts. He went to the foul line to net the victory for the Sharks. It was all square yet again in the quest for the title. The following evening, it was advantage Sheffield after Manchester's defeat by the London Towers. A 5th consecutive win for the Towers placed them 4th in the table. The Giants picked themselves up with wins over Thames Valley and then Birmingham. But the Sheffield Sharks were 2 wins away from the title. The first came with a convincing victory over the Newcastle Eagles. Their second game against the 11th place Chester Jets was perceived by many as a mere formality. The Sharks' tension showed, and the Jets used it to their advantage. Missed baskets, turnovers, and a fouled-out Myers forced the league title to go down to the final game of the season. Never before had a league title come down to a grand finale between the 2 contenders. All places between 3 and 8 were guaranteed playoff spots, although the battles for the final positions continued. A massive crowd packed the MAN Arena for the league title showdown between the Manchester Giants and the Sheffield Sharks. During the first quarter, both teams traded the lead and 3-pointers, but it ended tied at 17 apiece. In the second, the Sharks went up by 7, only to finish the half just 1 point ahead. In the third, the Sharks pulled away courtesy of 2 Ian McKinney 3-pointers and 1 from Todd Cawthorn to finish the quarter 5 points up. The Sharks went up by 10 with just over 6 minutes to play, but the Giants brought it right back and tied the game at 85 apiece. With just 3.5 seconds left on the clock, Sheffield inbounded the ball to Myers, who made a gutsy and successful jump shot to win the title for the Sharks on the buzzer. What a great regular season, but the regular season is not over. There's still one more award. They've named you the Coach of the Month for March and April, and we'd like to present this award to you. Things have changed. I remember the day when last time I won, when they gave me a bottle of beer.
After the season, I think I'd take a bottle of beer. But thank you very much,
yeah,
Kevin.
congratulations. I mean, great year for you, great season for the Sheffield Sharks. And as we look at the table, your team stands on top. You know, at the beginning of the year, it wasn't something that you kind of looked for, but the Sheffield Sharks here on top. We look at the final standings for the season. The Leopards and the Sharks will meet in the playoff. Giants and Birmingham in the playoffs. The Derby Storm against Thames Valley, and the Towers against Newcastle. At the beginning of the season, your team wasn't really predicted to have that much success. What type of effect did that have on your squad?
Not really. I mean, it did only in our pregame speech before our Manchester game. To be honest with you, we used that as a motivation to get the guys focused. Not only how far you've come, but look what we can do now that we're here. We knew we were going to be a strong season. Strong season contender, top 4 or 5 definitely. We didn't realize how we were going to be relative to other guys, other teams in the league with all the changes. We felt we'd make good cup runs, and we were able to do that as well.
What was the mentality when you lost Matt Gaudio?
It was devastating. I mean, personally, and all the guys felt it for Matt, not only because you were losing him out of the team, but because of the totality of his injury. You know, a guy so young and so good, so much in front of him, just can't play again, and that really affected us. I think. Thankful we were able to get a guy like Pete Scantlebury with all that experience and that calm head coming in and just kind of steady the ship for us.
You know, which was a big move, bringing Scantlebury in. But as you look at the season, looking at other teams, were there any type of surprises or lack of surprises from other squads?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, my hat goes off to a couple places. First of all, Derby, Bob Donwell did a fantastic job down there this year, and all the stuff that he had gone through in this season as well. And Andre Elaine really lifting our organization up off the top, up off the bottom, and made a playoff run for him. You know, Nick Nurse, the credit to him because he inherited a pressure-packed situation. Everybody was picking those guys from the beginning to do major things, and he made that happen to a certain extent. You know, he got him going, got the run going, got him up there, kept him up there, and dealt with it real well, I thought.
Is there one trophy, out of all the trophies that we have this season, is there one trophy that is more important for you than any other?
Well, coming into the season, I personally had 2 goals. We wanted to win the National Cup because it's in our backyard and we feel that's special to us. And we also I wanted to win Wembley because we had never have shown well there as an organization. As a player, I made it 3 times, and last time I was there, you guys just wiped the floor with us. I think we've never done well once we got there. Last year, we didn't even get there, and that was a bitter disappointment. So this year is a motivation for me to get into the Wembley Championships and try and win it. And now we're going to have to leave the season behind us and refocus on that.
Okay, let's have a look at the Wembley matchups, or playoffs matchups. Here we have Sheffield against the Leopards, Manchester, Birmingham, Thames Valley against the Derby Storm, and London Towers against Newcastle. And the procedure we use for the playoffs is the lower seed team plays the first game at their place. The 2, if necessary, games are then played at the higher seed. Now, down on the floor is the coach to the Derby Storms, Bob Dunnywald, and Nick Lino Fratton is with Suzanne Dando.
Thanks very much, Kev. Now, Bob, 4 straight wins to start the season with. You've ended up in 6th place. We won't harp on the loss last night. Are you not quite happy with that?
Well, I'm not happy that we lost Rico and York for the season. I've seen worse incidences in British basketball, contrary to what Mike Smith believes. And yet I lose 2 guys for the season, and consequently we take a bit of a dive. But we're okay. You know, we finished 6th, and now we've got Thames Valley.
You certainly have. And Lino, of course, bad luck tonight, of course, but that's the end of the season put out the way. Playoffs to look forward to. How do you feel about Newcastle?
Well, it's the only team with Sheffield that beat us all 3 times. I think that's a pretty good start because we have something to bring up there, and I think we have the pride to go up there and win the first game.
Okay, Bob, Thames Valley, you won the head-to-head 2-1, and it took a trophy game as well. How do you feel about facing them? They finished pretty strongly this year.
Yeah, they finished strong. In our last contest, it was our first game after the incident up at Chester, and that was the first time they beat us, and Paul wanted to rub our noses in it. Called a timeout with no time on the clock. So congratulations to Paul. Our guys are wound up, and we're looking forward to it.
As always. You know, you had 4, I think, or 5 consecutive wins on the trot that put you in 4th place. Did you feel that you could have gone a little bit further?
Well, I think that we're paying a little bit at the beginning of the season that was kind of inconsistent for us. But the way we have come out in the last month and a half, I think, is a very good thing in, let's say, foreseeing the playoffs.
Well, Bob, you'll be pleased to have Yorick back, of course.
Yeah, it'll bring some energy, brings another player, gives me somebody to sit next to on the bench, brings us another scorer. So a leader, an athlete, a scorer, a bit what we're missing right now. Yeah, I'm excited to get him back.
Well, you've never been to Wembley. How do you feel about playing at Wembley?
Yeah, we got to get through Thames Valley. Thames Valley's a good team, and McCord can really put up some points. He's averaging about 24 a game on us, and we're going to have to control some things if we're going to get there. But, you know, anything goes. It's playoff time. It's a time of the season where everything heats up, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, Lino and Bob, we wish you all the best. And Bob, I think he's got a problem with his razor. Kev?
Hey, he always has a problem with his razor. Now, you 2 guys will be meeting in Wembley. You guest on the show last week, had a chance to see Chris. Today you've had a chance to see the Leopards. What last week did you learn anything different about the Sharks?
I learned they're the best basketball team in the country for the past 9 months. Chris had his team together, I think, before anybody did. They were the first team getting together practicing. They went longer, harder, made fewer changes. And I got to say this to the guy sitting next to me. If he's not the coach of the year, something's really drastically wrong. Because I thought that he kept the core nucleus of players together from last year, and then he made 3 great additions. First, Matt Gaudio, who they wouldn't have had the great start they had without. Unbelievable addition in Travis Conlon, who's probably the league's most accurate playmaker. You know, and could you ever get a guy to fit in as well with Terrell Myers? And then thirdly, when unfortunately they lost Gaudio, to pick up a veteran like Pete Scantlebury. 3 class moves from a young coach who this year showed he's got a lot more wins than him before it's over.
Being that young coach that Billy happens to point out, being the brassest of the young coach, is there any way that you see the Leopards beating Sheffield in the playoffs?
Well, I'll tell you what, last time we played down here, we just had one of our worst efforts of the season, and I think it was a large part of what Billy had done to us. So he just picked us apart like no team had done. And I don't know if you maybe use National Cup as motivation, but boy, they really came out to play. And psychologically, some of the guys still talk about the game. We're gonna have a hard time getting over that, you know, because we'll have to come right back down to the same floor where we had probably our most disappointing defeat.
Is that in the back of your mind, that thought of last season? number 8 beat number 1 to make it to Wembley, which really was part of.
I can tell you it's in my mind. I don't know about this.
I'll tell you, what's in my mind is the disappointment of us not getting there, no matter who knocks you off. It was hard to go there and watch such a great weekend of basketball, because it really is. It's one of the best weekends of basketball that you'll have all year, and to leave, springtime, and you leave as a winner, what a feeling it must be, and that's what I'm trying to get to.
And let's look at, we have that setup of who plays who in the Wembley finals or to get to Wembley. Let's look at the possible matchups and see what we have. We have you two guys playing against each other. I know if I ask you who's going to win your series and if I ask you. But let's look at Derby and Thames Valley.
Okay. I think it's a great series. I think that's been an emotional series all year, as Bob had alluded to. I think not having Rico hurts them because of Thames Valley's size down inside.
Well, I think it's going to come down to, it's a 3-game series.
Yep.
And Derby all season has played on emotion and intensity. And if they can carry that emotion and intensity through 3 games, and if Thames Valley doesn't stay healthy, they've got a lot of health problems.
Manchester Bullets.
Well, the interesting one there, you got Nick sitting out for the first 2 games, and then Tony Holly with a broken wrist, apparently. So those things could play a factor.
Fractured wrist. Billy, Newcastle and the London Towers.
Tough call there, because Newcastle has played extremely well against the Towers.
And it's the 3rd consecutive years that they played against each other in the playoffs.
That's right, and they always seem to show up for the playoffs and play well. And Towers have knocked them off the last 2 years to get to Wembley. Maybe this time, Craig just might be able to put it all together.
Okay, fellas, thanks for that. Now, the regular season is over, and now it's time for the playoffs, and Wembley is the goal. And if possible, try to make it to a game in your area. The playoffs begin as usual with all the top 4 teams on the road, with the first game on Friday when the Towers travel to their bogey team, the Newcastle Eagles. On Saturday, Derby hosts last year's Wembley finalists, Thames Valley, and on Sunday, it's the Brentwood Leisure Center as the league champion Sheffield Sharks visit the team that they took the honor from, the Greater London Leopards. Wrapping the first leg are the defending champions, the Birmingham Bullets, who host Manchester without Nick Nurse, who begins a 2-game suspension. The second leg starts on Wednesday the 14th with the return fixtures between the Sharks and Leopards at Pines Ford in Sheffield. Also on the 14th, Thames Valley are at home for their game with Derby. Thursday the 15th concludes the second leg action with the Birmingham Bullets traveling to Manchester, and Newcastle comes to the capital to face the Towers. Now, if any of these ties require a third and deciding game, then Sheffield will be at home on Friday the 16th with Manchester, Thames Valley, and London, the host on Saturday the 17th of April. I would like to thank our guest Chris Finch and to wish all the teams all the best for the playoffs. Now, our action continues on Thursday, April 15th, as we look into the playoffs and pick up Game 2 in one of the most exciting quarterfinals being played. Now, that's on Sky Sports 1, 8 p.m. It's the Manchester Giants welcoming the Birmingham Bullets. Join us, and then on Saturday, April 17th at 7 on Sky 1, we will bring you Game 3 of one of these spectacular matchups with Wembley, the prize, so don't miss it. Thanks for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you in a week on Thursday. It has really been a thrilling season here on Sky Sports. Big plays, buzzer beaters, and the emotions of defeat and victory. I look forward to an outstanding Wembley, but this regular season will last long in my memory.
Whisper in my ear the things you wanna feel. I'll give you anything to feel it coming. Do you wake up on your own? I wonder where you are and live with all your faults. I wanna wake up where you are. I won't say anything at all, so why don't you smile? The life you killed, the priest is on the phone. Your father hit the wall, your mom disowned you. Don't suppose I'll ever know